for the adolescent education and mental health in India. And it has been an overwhelming response yesterday with the Honorable Minister giving it a great visionary idea, both in the amalgamation of science, spirituality, and well being. And that has actually sent out a message that we all need to spend a little bit more time understanding the dynamics of adolescence. And being the largest collection of this group in the world, 24% of our population needs our attention, needs our listening, and also a little bit of a change in the perception based on the new education policy. Now, that was a remarkable suggestion given by the Honorable Union Minister, supported by the NBT National Book Trust India Chairman Professor Govind Sharma ji and also the Director Yuvraj Malik sir. The important part is how this summit is taking shape. It is yet to start. It will be starting on Monday morning with about 1,256 uh, schools registered so far. And we are expecting about 16,000 students from all over the country to participate from these number of schools. The purpose is interaction, helping them to collaborate, share some ideas and suggestions how they can build up a national peer educators chain. And this can be through book reading, through storytelling, through art and culture, through socio-cultural and socio-emotional well-being programs for peer educators and life skills training, very well in tandem with what the Central Board of Secondary Education and also looking at various publications and handbooks which have already come in the market, and also the philosophy of joyful learning. Now, if that can be the beginning point and the substrate of how the adolescents actually imbibes a sense of responsibility and awareness, I think this is the right time to help the families come together, the families and the schools to partner better, to allow the adolescents in large numbers to invoke a sense of responsibility in parents and grandparents and work along with the schools, which is where the community partnership lies. And with that as a background, I think it has been a wonderful beginning. So thank you all of you. And the idea about coming together today was to have the opinion of the school leaders and also those leaders who are making a difference in the policy dynamics and also the programming and the good practices for life skills, gender, health, and well being of the children and the adolescents mainly. At the outset, we are deeply indebted and thankful to both Dr. Joseph Emmanuel and Shri Yuvraj Malik sir for having their valuable moments, I would say, and sentiments given to us during this webinar. I would also go one step further in mentioning that CBSE at the recent Sahodaya conference came out with four important handbooks, which we are going to be actually decoding and talking and also sharing some of the principles behind them and how these are going to be important in the corona times and beyond to make learning joyful, celebrating, interactive, and participatory. So thank you so much, Joseph sir, for your kind presence and also the leadership undertaken with the CBSE for making it a worthwhile journey of exploration and inquiry for the adolescents of India. Welcome to the webinar, sir. We are really proud to associate the knowledge partner here, National Book Trust India, for having made the grand success of the summit possible by reaching out to millions of students and children across the country during the COVID-19. And there have been publications during the COVID period which actually spoke about the psychosocial impact onto the families, children, the employability part, how the elderly people in the family respond during such confinements and lockdowns. I think the strides made by NBT India during the COVID-19 is worth mentioning on global literature, which has already happened. So thank you, Yuvraj sir, for making this astute, erudite leadership possible from your side. Welcome to the webinar, sir.
Thank you.
We also are waiting for Dr. Zoya Rizvi from the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, who will be touching upon some of the basic principles of school health program, which is actually the novel program under the MOH FW, along with the Ministry of Education, started incidentally during the COVID-19. The launch was during the COVID-19 period. So that's another milestone from the Health Ministry to the Education Ministry, covering about more than maybe 15 lakh schools in the next 5 years. So with our plenary important guests over here and other panelists whom we will be very attentively listening and put forward certain questions to help their suggestions to take such a programming forward for the future years, I invite upon Shri Yuvraj Malik sir to kindly share his sentiments about the program that has been launched and also the future role of NBT India in supporting the Indian education system. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nagpal. Am I visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Am
sir.
I visible?
I think on the landscape.
No, we can't see you, sir. We can hear you,
Yes,
but
sir.
we
We
can't
can hear
see
you,
you.
sir.
I don't know. I'm also not able to figure out how to go about it.
Okay.
Maybe, sir, you can just turn off your video once again and turn it on once again. Maybe turn
I
it
did
on
that.
now.
The link is working, I think. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Everyone is visible, sir, who has turned on the video.
Now
I
I'm
think there
on.
could be a technical. Not yet, sir. Not yet.
So shall we
That's a
start
Zoom link, no?
invisible mode only?
Yes, yes, sir.
As you said. Yeah.
Okay, very good afternoon to all the eminent people of this Expression India, Mr. Joseph, Mr. Madan, Nagpal ji, and the entire galaxy of eminent people who have taken this great initiative of thinking about the young minds. These are the minds of today, but actually these are the future of tomorrow. So in this Expression India series, what we are starting today is a wonderful initiative wherein we are actually thinking that organizer is Expression India and theme is also Expression India. So the entire aim is to put on a platform where the actual India, who will be our youth, our teenage, our adolescents, they will be expressing themselves in over a period of 1 month in different set of activities on different platforms with a different set and galaxy of domain experts and peer group. So I really congratulate Dr. Nagpal to take this initiative of Expression India and putting them in different league. And it's a one of unique summit which is happening where we are not giving any discourse or sermons or lectures. We are trying to get the talent of the children, which is not getting any expression. So thank you so much, Dr. Nagpal, and we really appreciate your endeavor to put this platform to the youth of the country and adolescents. Important aspect is of why the adolescents and the teens. You have to understand when you, as a domain expert from academics, you do this SWOT analysis. You evaluate the strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So all these things, when you do it, you realize that there's particular traits of this age group. These am I visible? Audible?
Audible, sir.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
When these set of people, this class of age group, they have strengths which we can call their aspirational. No one can dream bigger than a teenage boy or a teenage girl. They are very, very energetic. You can't match their energy level at this stage. You cannot expect more optimism in the society than this class of group. You cannot expect more creativity than anyone else. And you cannot expect more courage than what they have. Yesterday in a seminar, I quoted few examples. Again, I would like to, people who are not joined yesterday, I would like to remind them, please take back your mind to Sachin Tendulkar. He was barely less than 16 years in Karachi when he did his debut and faced the Pakistani cricket team there and did wonderfully well. And he turned out to be the Bharat Ratna highest accomplishment for any person and human being in India. You think of Annie Frank. She's a girl who's undergoing training in Nazi era, and then she is drafting a document which is historic. And try to understand the mindset of that age. You think of this girl, maybe around 13-year-old, addressing the United Nations platform of climate, an ambassador, Thunberg, Greta Thunberg. What is the age? She's talking and teaching the world the ethics, value, and sensitive to our environment. Think of Arunima Sinha, 16, 17. She lost both the legs and then she decided to climb all the mountains, including the Everest. We have to understand what age group we are working, what is their energy, are we able to utilize that energy into a right stream? That is a food for thought. If not, then we have to provide them the platform, the right set of settings, and right kind of ambience. You may give them degrees, 10, 12, passport, that's fine. That's a mandatory requirement to grow in life, and some parameters are required. But what about the certification in the University of Life? Life is itself a university, which keep graduating from the day we start understanding. This is the age where we have to take bold decisions. This is the age where we start getting orientation to our emotions. We start getting orientation to our capabilities. We start getting orientation to our sexuality. We start getting orientation to our worldly ways. How comfortable are we with it, or how comfortable we as parents and society are to guide them? See the weaknesses. Children are vulnerable at this stage. This is the weakness they have. They don't have experience with them, but they have opportunities to get a cocktail of both the things. This hybrid combination of their strengths and our experience will provide them the right kind of human resource the country needs. Now, we catch them young. We spot the talent early, start nurturing it. We start coaching them. Then only they reach to their peak. So they don't have to become Sachin Tendulkar. They don't have to become any Frank. They don't have to become, for that matter, Arunima Sinha. They have to become themselves. This is the pride we must give in our education system, that you have to become yourself. Now the question arises, how to do that? After 12, we tell, oh, beta, kya opt karna hai? Science, math, doctor, engineer, kya banna hai? We are asking him. But before asking this decision after 12 years of education, did we tell him that after 12 you have to take a decision, start preparing yourself, what decision you have to take? Because this will be your decision. Then you have to give your commitment to it, and then you have to make it an accomplishment. So decision is not with the outcome. Decision is always vague. Then you have to make it with your effort, a success story. Are we going to do it? These are the issues which youth undergo. Nowadays in Corona, world has shown a new kind of resilience, the switching from one format to the another. But we are not realizing we are heading to a situation. People have been talking about health, insurance for insurance, accident, this health, that disease. But actually, if we ask ourselves and do an introspection, how many of us are unhealthy and how many of us are healthy? There's a difference between two. We may not be unhealthy, but that is not sure whether we are healthy. We have to talk about mental well-being, mental health also, because this is very, very abstract kind of thinking. And let me tell you, we have to find ways. Today, on an average, we have 10 apps. We are wasting more than 1 hour per day. 6 to 9 hours of digital time we are spending. What kind of neurons are we creating for the society? I'm not against technology. I'm saying we have to get a very fine balance into our ecosystem, where we talk about intelligence quotient along with emotional quotient. The technological invention should not kill the spirituality quotient when we talk about health quotient. We may be greedy for technical quotient, technical upgradations, but what about the emotional and spiritual balance? We have to maintain that balance. That is the important thing, and that is the challenge today youths are feeling. The priority is not to do morning yoga or exercise or some meditation or doing some good healthy exercise, running, whatever it is, to see the first update on the Instagram. So this is the transition we are facing with this generation. I remember very well, my value system taught me, when you get up, the first thing you used to go to your parents, touch their feet, take their blessings, start your day. This is how we were grown. But today, do you get up? We are in some other room, somebody in some other room, and the first thing the children goes is, where is my iPhone? What is the last night Insta updates? How many likes I have got? So we are trying to seek very superficial gratifications, which are not going to be the success story. That going to the instant story. So think instant story is also required in this 21st century. We also require a long-term success story. Now, NVT, we design the content, the academic content, which in conjunction with the main textual content, go and shape the mind of the generation. We have to be very, very responsible. What content we give, what kind of pedigree we want to give. If we give a wrong pedigree, we'll produce a wrong product. It's simple input-output ratio. The kind of inputs you, me, our teacher faculties, academicians, the content writers, the syllabus designer, whatever we produce, let me tell you, someday that content either will make a hero or a devil. Nothing less than that. Choice is ours. So it is a collective responsibility to look after, to provide them these amenities, content to the society, where our youth get the expression of their capabilities. Third very big challenge which this society, this particular age group is facing, ability to dream big. People have stopped dreaming big. Kalam Sahib used to say, you must not be a criminal of thinking big. It's thinking of small. So thinking small is a crime, so let's not be a criminal. Let us give wings to our people. Let us give them expression. Let's give them platform. They will do wonders. Now coming back to the main issue of this activity of 1 month and on mental health, we must understand technology is not life. It is a force multiplier. So a force multiplier should not replace life. Life is far bigger concept where we have social values, ethics, principles, education. Literacy is not education. Education is a very broad concept, which also includes education in terms of values, lifestyle, and social strengthening. We have to ensure that this complete ecosystem is in a complete harmony and there is no disequilibrium. The moment we try to tinker this disequilibrium, that is the reason we are having so many young suicides. That is the only reason we are having so many depression cases. We never heard depression because there was a balance in life. The moment you lose balance, you feel that you are in depression. The percentage of disease and the ratio which is coming out is very, very alarming. So this complete 1 month of workshop, I'm sure will talk about these issues, and a lot of students will come out. They will give their expression to their capabilities, their talents, and they will meet some of the heroes live interactions. And I'm sure next year, this is a beginning. We have joined Dr. Nagpal's crusade of social empowerment and teenager and adolescent mental well-being. We will support this initiative outrightly and follow Dr. Nagpal in taking the message of society and empowering our youths. With this small brief, I leave the option and to the domain experts. They are wiser people. They will elaborate more on it. But I can ensure and assure the complete fraternity, whatever support National Book Trust at the leading publication house as a knowledge partner of the country will provide. Anyone is most welcome to write to us, express to us, take our consent, take our collaboration. And all these schools which have joined, they can join with us. We'll provide them free literature, very valuable literature, whatever is available on the house, e-books, e-portals, and children can write. And I will appeal to young friends of my life, please write and read. These two things will change your life. Gandhi even used to write when he was in jail. Nehru used to write when he was in jail. Netaji used to write when he was in exile. The people who have changed the world never left two things. One is reading, second is writing. If you can read and write, let me tell you, you can express yourself more and you can express and justify your talent more. So don't do it. Become my pen friend. I open this house and invite all of them to write me. I assure you, I will write all of you. I'll reply back on my mail ID. You become my pen friend and let's make this pen friend community a bigger version where we use anonymous names and express more and more. Anonymity is assured from my side, I can tell you. So it's a society we have to build together. So I want to feel young with you guys. So write to NBT, we'll support you. And at least 5 young children I want to write book for NBT and they should be my author. I'll pay them the royalty on behalf of my organization. These are the things I leave the house open. We will adopt you, young friends. You are the future and future of India is very, very bright with your leadership capabilities. So you are not kids, you are the leader of the country in young age. Thank you so much, Dr. Nagpal. I'm glad that you brought me here and made me talk with young fraternity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that's more of an invocation. And we all learned the new term, Friends of Adolescence India. Right. Okay. So we all joined the bandwagon of becoming Kishoron ke dost. I think all our principals will agree here. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. And I'm sure with the august presence of Dr. Joseph Emmanuel, these sentiments take a different dimension. And with the leadership of the Central Board of Secondary Education, I'm sure Joseph sir has some ideas to share in terms of the journey that CBSE has taken in the last decade for making maybe even a simple phenomena like reading and writing a little different and more creative, more empowering, and how we can actually look at this age group as sir was mentioning, maybe from 10, 12 to 18, 19, as a human resource for future planning, for participation, for interaction, and also ownership of the NEP. I think we have been talking about the NEP in the last about 4 months now, and constantly the ideology about children owning the policy and taking it forward with their own ideas and suggestions, including the newer generation reading and writing and maybe even book skills as such, storytelling for that matter. So, with your presence here, Dr. Joseph, as Director CBSC, we would like to maybe have a keynote opinion making from your side. And thanks a lot for being here on a Saturday afternoon with us. We know it's a holiday for you and so much of work pending for you, but you spared moment for the International Adolescent Summit. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Nagpal, the Director of Expression India, Sri Yuvraj Malik, Director MPT, all the dignitaries present here, all the senior principals, all the galaxy of principals, Mr. Vikram Kumar, Senior Editor from NPT, Dr. Jyoti Gupta, Dr. Sudha Acharya, Sri A.P. Sharma, Sri B.S. Garg, Sri Manoj Madan, Mrs. Manoranjani, Ms. Neha Sharma, and all the eminent school leaders present here. Expression India's work in the direction of adolescence education, mental health, well-being, and working among the youth is really laudable. And the support and cooperation extended by NPT at this point of time is really commendable. And with the help of thinkers like Dr. Nagpal and Sri Yuvraj Malik and all the school leaders, we can take this journey forward and we can really strengthen our young generation, the adolescents population, to make a better India. The youth, the adolescent, they need support, they need guidance, they need hand-holding. This is what they look for. They don't need any direction. And time is changing. As Mr. Malik has very rightly said, earlier we used to take direction from our parents, the teachers, and the society as a whole. Now, today's youth, they don't need any direction. They want support, partnership, and respect. And this is what the new generation is looking for. So let us understand the changes in the mindset. They wanted to be treated as knowledgeable citizens, the growing citizens. And from their side, there is great aspiration to understand their potential. So this is what the new generation is looking for. The value system of the traditional concept or this traditional culture with a modern outlook. That is the biggest hallmark of the new generation. They are very, very active. They are very novel in their thinking process. They have a lot of ideas and lot of potential. And this potential, talent, and the ability should be nurtured and channelized in the best direction. This is what, as school leaders or the mentors of the youth, all of us have to do. This expression of India's current summit, highlighting the problems faced by the adolescents and the solutions, and how to make them more receptive to the changes, is very important. And with the help of all the school leaders, institutional leaders, let us take this journey forward collectively and give them a good platform to, to, uh, to unleash their potential and grow in their life. The education is learning for life. In fact, life is the real meaning of education. When you empower a child to face the challenges of real life, you are educating them. Education, in that sense, education is life. To that direction, empowering every citizen of this country, empowering every adolescent citizen of this country will make a new India. And to that direction, let us all work together. Let us all realize the problems of the youth. Let us create a conducive environment where the youth and the elders, everyone come together, everyone discuss, everyone sit together and find solution to the problems. In fact, we all should become part of solution makers rather than creators of problems. So this is what is required. Youth, they have a lot of potential, lot of aspiration, and there are so many social conditions that affects their life. These social conditions, there are certain conditions are under society's control, but certain conditions are beyond society's control. So wherever things are under the control, wherever there is an environment which can be created by elders, let us create an environment wherein let us have an understanding of the problems of the youth and create a conducive environment for their growth and well-being. It is very important to discuss the problems and find a solution, and also encourage our youth to come forward and discuss their problems. Almost 300 million people across the world is facing different types of mental diseases. So this is an alarming number, and India tops in the list of people with the mental problems, stress level, anxiety level, and all such mental and emotional issues. So what is the solution to this? It also depends upon the socio-economic conditions. It also depends upon your financial conditions, your future uncertainty. All leads to anxiety and stress in the minds of adolescents. So to empower the children and to make the adolescents to think at the right direction is a big step towards finding solution to these problems. CBSE's different manuals for the school leaders and teachers, like life skills manual, mental health manual, 21st century skills, joyful learning. These are all various steps, various initiatives taken by the board towards creating an enabling environment for the youngsters to think at the right direction. The righteousness available within the human being should be nurtured, and from that righteousness, a beautiful character should be created, as our revered former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, once said, where there is righteousness in heart, there is beauty in character. Where there is beauty in character, there is harmony at home. Where there is harmony at home, there is an order in the society. And where there is an order in the society, there is peace in the world. So a righteous mind and peace in the world is directly related. So every human being has righteousness in himself or herself. So to identify, nurture, and unleash the potential, and unleash the right behavior, right thinking, it's very important. For that, reading, writing, expressions, all such creative competitions or creative activities, engaging activities are important. That is why CBSE also encouraging its students to participate in various informal competitions like expression series, various enrichment activities, sports integrated learning, art integrated learning, spiritual learning, all are important to have a balanced outlook as well as balanced life. So everything should be balanced. Your aspirations, its limitation, your potential, everything should be known to the adolescent mind. Then he will take the right step. Suppose high aspiration is there, if that much potential is not available with the individual, he will meet with so much difficulties in later part of life as well as dissatisfaction in life. So realizing to make the child realize the real potential and nurture that talent and potential in the right direction is the responsibility of all the school leaders. Let us work together. Let us take help from organizations like National Book Trust, wherein lot of material, lot of scope available for the young minds to express their ideas, their thoughts. They can pen down their their creativity. Everything is possible, and it is really laudable that Mr. Yuvraj Malik has keep his platform open for the youngsters of this country. Let us work together. Let us all strive for a better India, handhold our children, help them to understand their real potential, give them a direction to reach the right path in their life, and beyond all, developing a healthy habit and attitude in individuals so that our traditional spirituality, our traditional games, sports, including Ayurveda, yoga, everything matters. If the ancient wisdom of India is used at the right direction, that will also help our youngsters to unleash their potential and capacities and move towards at the right direction. So conditioning of mind is happening in adolescence age. And this adolescence youth with unlimited potential and talent, that is a major portion of India's population, the growing India, young India, majorly depends upon this 35 crore adolescent citizens. And this is unique in the whole world. With this unlimited resources available to this country, if we are able to channelize this resource at the right direction, nobody can beat our country. In that, all the educational leaders like you have a big role to play. I appreciate Expression India in coming forward with this novel idea. This is the 9th Adolescent Summit is happening under the flagship of Expression India. And with the support and active participation of school leaders from across India, maximum schools I can see here, they are all from the CBSE family. CBSE is already a flag bearer of innovations in the field of education, whether it is implementing the recommendations of National Education Policy or whatever programs envisaged by the government like Ek Bharat, Shreshtha Bharat, Swachh Bharat, whatever activities are there. CBSE schools are there in the forefront to implement those programs on the ground with the active participation and support from the CBSE school fraternity and the school leaders. This Adolescents Summit will be a successful venture, and the learnings from the summit, let us strengthen our school system. Let us develop a habit of seeking help from others if a problem exists in our life. So, like a goodwill to a company, mental health and well-being, it is intangible, but it's very important. So, by understanding the importance of mental health and well-being, let us all work together to build a strong, mentally strong young India, young adolescent population for this country. And in that direction, whatever help Expression India is required from the CBSE fraternity and CBSE schools, we are there to support you. And we are also getting a lot of support from Dr. Nagpal and his organization, whether it is a preparation of manual, adolescents manual, life skills manual, mental health manual. Lot of materials have been produced by CBSE with the help of Expression India and Dr. Nagpal. And wherever CBSE is organizing any event in the direction of health and well-being, where Dr. Nagpal is always there to support us. So I take this opportunity to thank him for all his support, and all the school leaders like Dr. Jyoti Gupta, Dr. Sudha Acharya, Mrs. Manorajin. They are all working hand in hand and supporting the board in taking forward this journey of building a strong India by truly unleashing the potential of the young citizens of our country and making them more stronger and stronger. So my best wishes to this venture, and my congratulations to Expression India and all the school leaders who are partnering in this program. With these words, I thank everyone who is listening me patiently at this moment. And once again, congratulations for the success of for organizing this program, and wish every best, all the best for the success as well as a fruitful conclusion of this 1 month program. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I'm speechless rather. And I think it's been a humbling moment for all of us and all the school leaders here with your sentiments being shared and the scope and the landscape which the CBSE has brought to the country with more than 25,000 schools. I'm sure in the times to come, we as soldiers with the leadership organizations like CBSE and NBT, I'm sure our spirit of being the unknown soldiers will be fully utilized, and wherever we are required, so we'll always be there with you. And really, thanks for stimulating the idea that we can be friends for the teenagers in India, and adolescents are the owners of their own classrooms. And I remember Vygotsky mentioning how the reciprocal learning should take place, where teacher is the learner and the learner becomes the teachers. That's the future of India's education, and NEP has been the guiding spirit with the Honorable Union Minister mentioning yesterday. Truly thankful to you, sir. It's indeed a humbling moment with your words. We'll request both Dr. Joseph and Shri Yuvraj to be here, and we'll be running through the opinions of our school leaders for a moment, and a few experts also in the field who are contributing to the larger flavor and essence of Adolescence India. With these words, I would, before we move on to Vikramji for a little bit of an exposition about the pros and cons of book reading, what are the challenges for India, I'll invite Dr. Amita Vatal over here, a former chairperson NPSC and principal Springdale School, Pusa Road. Ma'am, you're there with us?
Yes, thank you. I've just got in. Thank you,
Okay,
Dr. Nagpal.
okay.
So sorry I was late.
You've been able to share your ears with Shri Yuvrajji and Dr. Joseph, very nicely showcased the idea about the awareness, responsibility, and empowerment as far as adolescence is concerned. I'll straight away come to you with the question: participatory adolescent and the resilient adolescent of India. What's your opinion? Where are we heading for? Very specific. I know you are a wonderful explorer of sentiments as far as mental health goes. Uh, the participating adolescent, I think we are yet to reach that stage of satisfaction where children become the the forerunners of their own decision making as far as countrywide participations are concerned. We are in our ivory towers most of the time, but what is your way forward and becoming more resilient as a citizen of tomorrow, the adolescents of India? Please, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Firstly, I'd like to apologize that I was late and I just came at the tag end of what Dr. Emmanuel was saying. But I just want to say that I think Expressions India has done an amazing amount of work in the area of learning. I would also like to say that perhaps Dr. Joseph, I think, is integral to lifelong learning, and that he is here itself is a reflection of the kind of important work that he has done over the years. And I mean, he's a stalwart, being an academic head in so many things. And I would also like to thank the Yuvrajji, because I think the whole National Book Trust and the whole understanding of learning in books is synergetic and it sort of works side by side. And then, of course, I see the Jyotis who light up the lights, Jyoti Gupta and Jyoti Arora, who light up the firmament of learning wherever they go, and AP, who is the beacon in the in the Middle East. So you've got and Manoj, who's a community head, and my old friend Mr. Kachru here, and so many people who I know, and Neha, amazing group of people you've got together. But this is something about you, Dr. Nagpal, that you are a master catalyst and a sort of I would call you a superstar, rock star of adolescent learning. So I think we should give you a clap for that. And then I'm going to get into the whole resilient bit. And hello, all my lovely colleagues. I just want to quickly say that I think today the most important emphasis in schools is to nourish mental health. And this is something you've been talking about for the last, I would say, 20 years plus. And I think you are a pioneer in this area, because ultimately, well-being, the two states, which is mental health and well-being, they affect the emotional compass, particularly of the adolescents. And so when you talk about resilience, you talk about persistence, you talk about grit, you have to have a balance, as Dr. Joseph Emmanuel so correctly said, that without this balance, there's going to be no well-being and mental health. And I do believe that the emotional and the adversarial quotient have become a very important part in understanding an adolescent. And if an adolescent understands and responds and it copes with adversity, for example, there have been so many young people who, instead of sort of collapsing in the pandemic, have risen above it and done all sorts of wonderful things and upgraded themselves. So then they are resilient. And hence there's a need for a movement. And I think this is what I would say to my colleagues, and many of them agree with me, that we should move from a mindset to a skill set to a heart set. And I think the heart set, this follows a very natural path. And we seem to forget what the heart set is, because ultimately our rationality is deeply influenced by our emotions. And our heart set, it finds reasons to support what we like and what we don't like. So if we can hook in to what the adolescent really cares for, what he really likes, even neuroscientists believe that the heart talks to the brain twice as much as the brain talks to the heart. And you would know that as a psychiatrist. So it reiterates that learning is an emotional experience. So if we can hook on to the emotional experience of an adolescent and sort of deconstruct his feelings, automatically grit and resilience will build, and we'll have much stronger young people, because the heart set helps in building relationships, which is one of the greatest skills of the 21st century, because from that emit the skills of communication, from collaboration, of viewing other people through a lens of empathy and compassion, believing that man is not a soul who's trapped in a geographical boundary, but he's a citizen of the world. And you're creating world citizens if we get into the whole mindset, skill set, heart set movement. And in fact, I would say that a lot of our children have grown up very fast during this pandemic compared to any other generation. And today, more than ever, all of us, especially the young, are triggered and flooded and overwhelmed by all sorts of situations. And that is why, gatherings of this kind will help in making them realize what is their emotional learning compass. And they must realize that perhaps more than the vaccine itself, because the vaccine may take a time in coming. The emotional compass is part of the integral themselves. So what we need to do is that stress has already pinnacled, and it'll become a domino effect, and it's going to be felt across time, because a lot of learning has got lost, a lot of emotions have got lost. And so I think the fact that if we can build up these sets that we're talking about, and which they are, I think automatically this whole resilience and this grit and never saying no and being able to turn every crisis into an opportunity will definitely take them very far. So with that, I don't like to go further, because you have so many wonderful people to speak. And with that, I'd like to rest my case. So for me, it's these three things that I think the children need to build upon. Thanks, Dr. Nagpal.
Thank you, ma'am. I think you made it quite explicit in the terminology of the heart and the head collaboration. And I think we all need to improvise our emotional quotient apart from the adolescents as such. We all need to work better for the pedagogical EQ also, not the pedagogical IQ. Thank you, ma'am. I think we'll, if the time permits, we'll come back to you for a final say on the matter. We'll now invite Kumar Vikramji, Honorable Senior Editor from the National Book Trust India. Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for being with us. You've been indeed I would say a baton and a beacon, both in terms of transforming the type of literature, the type of the invocation, the good writers across the country come forward. They get nurtured, molded, and maybe shaped up by your erudite learning as a writer, as a reader, and also as a teacher, I would say. I think I can recall, for the benefit of the school leaders here, sir was part of the training program for certain psychology students internship, which we did virtually in the month of July to September. And it was a fascinating journey for some of the students of plus two, where Sir Vikramji spoke about how book reading and life skills and positive mental health go together, and what can be the guiding principles for a better book reader. So we'll invite your opinion and maybe very crisp suggestions on how 21st century book readers in the classroom, at a home, maybe at the period of confinement and coronas like these, what are we looking at? Has book reading undergone a change? I think we all agree by now that reading and writing skills by and large have not been very well taking shape. Do you give an indicator from your side as a editor of a large government organization like NBT, sir? Over to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Dr. Nagpal.
Thank you.
And it's my pleasure and privilege to be here talking and interacting with such a galaxy of educationists and senior principals of different schools from different parts of India. Our director, Dr. Yuvraj Malik, has just spoken, and also the director of academics of CBSE, Dr. Joseph, have also given his point of view. My brief, as given by Dr. Nagpal, was that it is a kind of a meeting among the stakeholders, among the the people who deal with the lively and dynamic personalities of the kids and youngsters, and nurture them to become good citizens. And we, from the perspective of National Book Trust India, are also engaged in that goal. And for the last 6 decades, we have been trying to bring out reading materials and creating content for kids and for the youngsters. But today, since it is supposed to be a stakeholders meet, as Dr. Nagpal said, I'm reminded I would like to rather go into some of the basic questions before we talk about the reading habit and how how books can create a set of skills among our kids. Way back, I joined the National Book Trust in 2000, the year 2000, and quite early on in my career, I had we had a fascinating seminar that we had organized where the legendary Bhishma Sahni, in the literature, was the chief guest, and he asked 2-3 questions, and he and some of the in my mind. And he said कि हम लोग कहते हैं बच्चे को ऐसे पढ़ाना चाहिए, वैसे पढ़ाना चाहिए. मैं तो ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि क्या हमारे जो शिक्षक हैं वो खुद पढ़ रहे हैं क्या जो माता पिता हैं वो खुद पढ़ रहे हैं क्या. और फिर उन्होंने कहा कि बहुत ये बात मैं बहुत जगह पे कोट कर चुका हूँ. उन्होंने कहा कि घर में किताबें बिखरी पड़ी होनी चाहिए ताकि बच्चे उससे टकराते रहें. Since he was a literature, for him that takrana, of course, meant he actually meant physical takrana before encountering them, intellectually. So this whole ambience, this whole the ecosystem of reading and imbibing life skills and emotions through books, it is an ongoing process. And before expecting too much out of our kids, we are also supposed to keep oiling ourselves. And I find that the priority of books in our lifestyle is not so high. If you personally, I mean, of course, there would be people who spend a lot on books and they have their own personal libraries and all that. But if you look at very carefully, how much do we spend on buying books other than the textbooks, and there is also, sometimes it becomes a kind of uh, a bit of a fashionable to say that we should gift books, but in actual lifestyle, what we find that when we are gifting books on certain occasions, they do not stand alone. They are always cloaked with other gifts. And there is this overemphasis on the price tag which a thing carries, whereas the books, even if they may be of 50 rupees, but we only feel that we are giving a gift of 50 rupees. We don't have this sense that we are actually giving a short story of, say, Leo Tolstoy. I mean, Leo Tolstoy is, if you are giving a gift, a book which carries a story like Three Questions by Leo Tolstoy. How do you evaluate its in intangible terms what you are gifting? You are actually gifting a set of values. You are actually gifting a kind of a maybe a lifelong impact which a child would be having. So it's all about how we create mental nourishment among the kids through books, and how we should be able to create an ambience where they are made to feel that they are proud owners of a small library, maybe of 10 books or maybe of 15 books. It's like that kind of culture and that kind of ambience is something that we must create. I'm sure most of the teachers and principals are always working towards that, but kind of a social, I would say, a movement on that line would be needed. Recently, we have been working on some of the very important speeches of the Prime Minister on education and other issues. And in one of the speeches, it really makes you think that when he is talking to an audience, and he is raising the issue of this feticides and infanticides, and there he says that you know I can understand that there has been some kind of a regressive ideas in the society, which forces certain people to go for infanticide or feticide, and we need to correct it. But I do not understand what the doctors are doing. Why do they get involved when, as a society, when the entire society is spent so much on the education of a doctor, in creating a doctor, and then at the end, if, he is not able to have that value system which he's supposed to be having. So if a person can become a very skilled doctor, but he is not able to have that empathy, that human values, you know then what is in what way we are educating our people? There you one We can become a very good engineer or a doctor or professional, but if you're failing in relationships, you are failing in your social responsibilities, then I don't think the education is really giving what it should be imparting. So I also find that there is also a kind of a strange culture of complaint that we all have over are growing up with. We send our kids to English medium schools, and then we keep complaining that their mother tongue is not as strong, their Hindi is not as strong, and we give them digital gadgets, and then we keep complaining about how much time they are spending on mobile, on the screen, and it is all impacting their behavioral issues, and they are not they don't have the have any peer group, and then we build up a system right from beginning where we are creating an ambience for materialism, if I can say so, and and then we complain that they don't have a reading habit and they don't have books. So of course there has to be some kind of a balance in what we do, and as educators we have to create an ambience and for our kids where they get hold of the the, I would say, a holistic personality and point of view. And I think in that respect the new education policy has come up with certain very good things, like even they have this idea of a bagless days. For 10 days there would not be any education, and they can understand what a carpenter does, or what a plumber does, or what a gardener does. And so in that sense they can also think learn about other stakeholders of the society, and how the life goes on. In this respect, I will take just 2-3 more minutes, because Dr. Nakpal was saying that I should be able to talk about books. So we have recently come out with this book. It's a very fascinating book. Can you kiss your own face? And I will quickly read it because it has hardly got 200 words, but it has fascinating illustrations. And it's written by Professor Ramesh Bislani, who was a doctor in AIMS, and he was the person who was instrumental in starting the yoga department of yoga in AIMS, and now he works with Sri Aurobindo Ashram, and it's illustrated by Mohit Suneja, who is one of the topmost artists of India. And this is how it starts. It's a top class illustration, and it creates a different worldview for the kids. And the first is Maya is 3. She says, "I'm a big girl now. I am 3, and on my happy birthday, I will be 4." Now the next page we go. When Maya's mother tries to feed her, she says, "Mommy, I will do it myself." When her mother tries to help her write, she says, "Mommy, I will do it myself." When her mother tries to help her climb the stairs, she says, "Mommy, I can climb on my own." When her mother tries to help her brush her teeth, she says, "Mommy, I will do it on my own." When her mother tries to help her with the bath, she says, "Mommy, I will do it on my own." When her mother tries to help her dress, she says, "Mommy, I can do it all by myself." Now the twist comes, throughout the story, there is an emphasis on the independence and the freedom-seeking self. And then the twist comes. When her mother tries to kiss her, she does not say, "Mommy, I will do it on my own." She lets Mommy do it. After getting a kiss, Maya is very happy. Maya also gives a kiss back to Mummy. After giving a kiss, Maya is still more happy. Mummy is also still more happy. Maya lets Mummy kiss her face. That is because Maya cannot kiss her own face. Maya's mummy too cannot kiss her own face. I too cannot kiss my own face. Do you know somebody who can kiss her own face? So there is a note for parents and teachers, and I will quickly read it out, and then I will end my submission. Toddlers have a tendency to do things on their own, even when they cannot do them well. They fall when they try to walk, and yet they want to walk. They make a mess when they try to eat, and yet they want to eat on their own. And that is how they learn to do new things. Therefore, the current trend is to foster independence and not to stop the child from doing something if she wants to do it on her own. While it is desirable, the fact remains that in an independent world, none of us can meet all our needs on our own, including and especially our need for happiness. So, while independence should be encouraged, once in a while, the child should also be made to realize that we cannot do without each other. This book brings out the reality of interdependence in a manner that even a little child can understand. Another message, no less important, implied in the book is that both giving love and receiving love are a source of joy. Maya is happy when she gets a kiss and also when she gives a kiss. So this is the kind of right from the beginning, the mental nourishment and the value system that we need to include, inculcate among our kids and youngsters, so that in whatever they grow up and they do in their life, they understand that there is a limit to independence and there is a necessity for interdependence, so that they come up with a kind of a personality which is more cohesive and harmonious and holistic for himself or herself and for the society at large. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikramji. I think what to say. I think it's prompting and also making us feel that we should read more and more. And जो आपने book से टकराने की बात कही है, I think हम सबको आज से शुरू कर देना चाहिए. And also refeeling the idea that children will role model what we do. And you spoke about that in a very subtle manner. So if the parents and the teachers give time to get back to those मैं कहूँगा कि जो किताबें रैक में और अलमारी में पड़ी रहती हैं उनको निकाल के अगर हम पढ़ें and we take out some time to show the children to give the message that come join us and we give happiness to each other through the books and by the articulating books. I think it's a very right appropriate sentiment you have shared at a very important adolescent summit, which I think children will certainly go back home and maybe talk to the parents to become better readers also. So it's a partnership. It's
May
a
I share
community.
one input? I want to share
Sir,
something. May I?
right.
With your
Ji, sir.
permission?
Ji. Yeah, please, sir.
Let me tell you, I really uh, request all participants on eminent principal like Tulsi, Dr. Amita, Dr. Jyoti, all people are here. Please ensure if we can give any gift to our generation before we die, we should give one small library in our houses before we die. Because that money will vanish, that resources will vanish. But if these 100,000 books we give, and the day somebody, one of our son or daughter will pick up one book and read it, that book might change his life. It will. I'm telling you, when I grew up, I give my personal example. My father has bought a book every month and written the date and month and my name. So when I started understanding why you are collecting, he said, I bought a book every month for you so that when you will grow up, you have to finish all of them. So now I have not been able to finish them till now.
that makes a very fruitful well-being longevity possible, sir. And books are the accompaniment and probably the best friends also.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that's a very important prelude to the workshop. Just for the benefit of the school leaders and the entire participants who are watching and listening to all the school leaders, 21st Monday afternoon we have the book reading, life skills, and emotional well-being workshop. And for the participants, I'm sure they will take back home some messages and write to us as the organizing group what better methodologies can be adopted for making book reading viable phenomena in the family, not only the school but with better school and family partnership. That's one of the workshops and one of the leading areas of discussion during the adolescent summit, when with good examples of some of the leading authors coming and talking to children over the next 15 days. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. uh, we move on to our other school leaders, and very importantly, I think we have a wonderful galaxy of people who have done remarkable work in their areas and regions also. I'll call upon for this moment Shri AP Sharma ji, uh, Principal Birla Public School, Doha, Qatar. You are there with us, sir?
Yes.
Right. A very simple. I think we've been having informal discussions many times on telephone, and I always feel that no better than a cross-cultural example can be your school, and you've done a masterly work by taking a lot of cultural exchange in terms of life skills through the peer educators in your school. Just an example of any particular learning that has come and which you would like to share with us through the eyes of the adolescents in your school.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Nagpal, and a good afternoon to all my colleagues, and especially good afternoon to Mr. Yuvraj Malik and Vikramji. It was very nice listening all of you, and I'm really feel proud and privileged because I have been with Dr. Nagpal, and I hardly missed any of his expression India's events when I was in Delhi, and even when I came to Doha, there is no difference. So one thing every speaker was telling about, it's a pan India kind of a movement. No, it's an international movement. I will correct it, and it's going on all over Gulf and even in different countries, and kind of things we are doing together are really helping children. So, Daksha, when you talked about the peer, the grouping and all, it had been very interesting here because my school strength is too big. It's 7,600 students, and then even in adolescent age, we have quite big number of around 2,500 to 3,000 students, and then that too of 23 nationalities. So while making the groups and peer groups in the cross cultural, the phenomenon, what we did that we tried that in the peer education for learning emotions of each other was very interesting because they come from different family grounds and family background, as well as they have different kind of feeling, different kind of values. But it was very interesting that the parents from who are coming from different religion, different countries, they 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 thought one simple thing is that yes, the global citizenry is the aspect which, sorry, so global citizenry is the aspect of the day which should continue. And right now, when we were talking, and then few days back we discussed, so few children from different countries, they raised one very interesting kind of their fear. They said, sir, generally the school leaders call us the FOMO, like fear of missing out, that particular phenomenon is there, and then FOIL, phase of identity loss and all these kind of things. But we right now have a fear of very different kind, like what will be the what is the impact of emotional violence, which may be from when the family parents are stuck some places, they could not fulfill their dreams and all that thing is coming on us. And sometimes it becomes very different when we talk about our insight, like equitable continuance of learning. That is really a big challenge for us. They are worried about their future, and when they talk to each other, and then cultural exchanges. A few days back we had a discussion with the few of the students of Argentina and Israel, and the same kind of emotions were there. Even when we had a discussion with the students of US, they were more fearful. Very interestingly, being a developed country, they said it's very important because after this COVID era, when the things will be normal, we will be having an explosion of overwhelming emotions. So we don't know what will happen in that. Will that be good? They are thinking that will be good. So basically, what I want to tell is that
Yep.
this is right now a bigger responsibility on school leaders, where we can really think that how we can put up kind of skill sets so that students can start having confidence in school, confidence in themselves, confidence in family, confidence in society. Then only they can perform well. And resilience, they have learned a lot of resilience. Of course, when Amita ma'am was telling that, yes, this particular COVID era has made them more resilient, and their belongingness, identity, everything is changing. So engaging curriculum and skills, these are two things. And Expression India is doing great things about the soft skill learning, and CBSE has come up with certain kind of things as in the leadership role. My objective is, like we did discuss among 3-4 countries, and we said how to move forward. So one of the student was from who was from the Indian roots in US. He said, even in US, my parents and my grandparents has told me to have certain kind of things in their daily routine, and then I'm doing morning yoga, I'm touching feet of parents. However, in the beginning I thought it's a very different, but I feel some energy when my grandfather is touching my forehead. So he said, it's very important that we move out of these things with certain kind of behavioral aspect which make us stronger students. And it's very important to move from the negative mindset to the growth mindset, and that too maintaining the curious mindset, because the curious mindset is very, very important to go further. I'm really thankful. And just my closing remark is that during COVID, and it is rather more important for all of us, that as two people from the NBT are there, and they are doing amazing job. We have to tell our children to read more and more, and I really support the idea of gifting the books. In our school, we have one particular rule that any child who is having birthday, he gifts one book for the class library, which is always available for the book. But it's a good idea that on birthdays also, if they exchange the books and all, it's an amazing idea, and I will support this in my school. Thank you so much, Dr. Nagpal.
Right, sir. Thank you. I think the curious minds and the curious life, the spirit of inquiry is what you talk about in terms of a cross-cultural setting with 7,600 students over there. I think that's an amazing group of leaders. And I'm sure in the next fortnight, your school has already enrolled, and the senior students will be coming forward to not only express, but also lead some of the discussions amongst the adolescents. Thank you so much, sir. Coming to a very important part, in terms of it struck me you are already highlighting Shri Sharma sir about the inclusivity, and such a wonderful inclusivity, inter-country, intercultural, and cross-cultural opinion making from the students. I'll bring in for a moment Dr. Sudhacharya ma'am. You're there? Yeah, ma'am. Sudhacharya ma'am, are you there?
Sir, Sudha ma'am has not joined yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just leave a message and we'll move on.
Sure, sir.
Dr. Raj Kachuru, Shri Raj Kachuru, sir, Amitaji just mentioned about him. Thanks a lot for being with us, sir. I think I know it's so tough sometimes for you to keep on getting into these webinars, sometimes from Jammu and sometimes from Delhi. But I think having you in this particular moment of a deliberation and a discourse is only because you've been one of the sentinels and guardians of child and adolescence India. How? Because we all know, and some of us don't know, I'm sure, that you are the person who actually brought in the ragging prevention guidelines for the country, isn't it, sir? And there is a very tragic history behind it, and you always shared with us in our previous Adolescent Summit at the India Islamic Cultural Center also with the students. And we remember you as a father of ragging prevention guidelines, and also bringing in a complexion change in the perception of emotional empathy in young people, isn't it? For we mean that through the life skills model, and your name comes in very often. Now, looking at the bullying prevention guidelines with the UGC is promulgating now, and I happen to be part of the committee with you. Maybe you can share with us just a small sentiment on how the debate between the ragging and the bullying in schools can be brought to a closure with the implementation of certain newer guidelines which the government is now coming up with. Over to you, Raj Kachuru, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. आप हमें बुलाते हैं और हम आते हैं, क्योंकि sometimes I find myself in being minority, सब स्कूल के टीचर्स हैं, सब स्कूल का एटमॉस्फेयर है, तो मैं तो बाहर का एक आदमी हूँ, बाहर से कहीं से घुस गया इसमें। दो बातें मैं करूंगा, एक तो आपका जो स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन है जो बुलिंग का, लेकिन मैंने बहुत घंटे से सुना है बहुत बात, तो उसके बारे में भी मुझे 5 मिनट बात करने दे दीजिए उसके बाद।
जरूर।
तो ये जो स्कूल, ये जो पूरा इश्यू है वायलेंस का, या चाहे स्कूल में है, चाहे कॉलेज में है, चाहे सोसाइटी में है, क्योंकि मेरा तो अब 90% वायलेंस अगेंस्ट विमेन पे काम होता है, तो आई एम क्वाइट अवेयर द एंटायर सिनेरियो ऑफ वायलेंस where the mental health is a reason behind. mental health नहीं, disturbed mind नहीं होगा तो violence नहीं करेगा, इसमें तो बहुत expertise की जरूरत नहीं है to understand that. लेकिन इसको solutions, my focus is always on solutions because I'm not a philosopher or a teacher of mental health. So solutions from an outsider, I see there are two components. एक तो compliance है, कंप्लायंस ऑफ लॉ, और दूसरा जो है कोर सोशल रिफॉर्म है। ये पता नहीं क्यों जब से ये रैगिंग का शुरू मैंने किया, एंड आई एम स्टिल वर्किंग एट इट, आई टोल्ड देम दैट टाइम, बहुत लोग बात कर रहे थे, तो मैंने कहा 70-80% तो मैं खत्म करवा दूंगा ये कंप्लायंस से, लेकिन ये जो 10-20% रहेगा वो कंप्लायंस से नहीं होता है, वो सोशल चेंज से होगा। So there is always a two component theory in my opinion. आप compliance बहुत जरूरी है, ये जो superficial development होती, जो temporarily create हुआ होता है, वो compliance से खत्म हो जाता है, and that's what happened in ragging. Within a decade we reduced ragging from 42% to less than 5%. लेकिन अब मैं last year बात कर रहा था, 5% को कोई बोल रहे थे ये खत्म हो जाएगा, मैंने कहा ये खत्म नहीं होगा, asymptotic है, इसके लिए तो society बदलना पड़ेगा, ये रहेगा, because there is something that triggers this phenomenon which is visible then in the colleges. तो bullying तो extension है ragging program का, अब हम लोग compliance पे ध्यान दे रहे हैं कि उस ये जो colleges में successful compliance process से बहुत कम ragging पे पहुंच गया है, बहुत reduction हो गया है, can we extend it to bullying? ये शुरू में ही सोचा था। लीगल इश्यूज हैं जो आपको मालूम है, कमेटी में बात होती है कि जो रैगिंग प्रिवेंशन रेगुलेशंस हैं, दे आर मोस्टली फॉर एडल्ट्स, व्हेन वी गो टू द स्कूल्स वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट जुवेनाइल्स, सो देयर इज अ लीगल प्रोविजन थोड़ा बहुत, लेकिन जैसा आपको मालूम है कि साल भर में मुझे लगता है वी विल बी एबल टू ब्रिंग इन रेगुलेशंस, एट लीस्ट वी विल ट्राई to bring in regulations जिससे बुलिंग पे थोड़ा कंट्रोल हो जाए। कंट्रोल का मतलब ये नहीं है कि खत्म हो जाएगा या एलिमिनेट हो जाएगा, कंट्रोल का मतलब है कि जितना आप कंप्लायंस से करवा सकते हैं 50-60% इसको रिडक्शन करवा, जो सुपरफिशियली घुस जाते हैं उनको उनसे करवा सकते हैं। तो ये बात हुआ कि कंप्लायंस का, लेकिन कोर सोशल रिफॉर्म जो आपका यहाँ ऑडियंस है, जो मतलब नहीं पार्टिसिपेंट्स जो हैं वो सब स्कूल टीचर्स हैं, and they teach, and मैं सुन रहा था बड़ी इंटरेस्ट से, 3 बजे से ही सुन रहा था पूरी सब की बात। तो I have a slightly, as you always know, I usually have a minority view on many things. कई बार तो डिफिकल्ट भी हो जाता, तो आज भी मैं थोड़ा सा माइनॉरिटी व्यू देना चाहता हूँ, 5 मिनट ही बोलूंगा, ज्यादा नहीं लूंगा आपका टाइम। हमने पूरा इतने सालों से एक स्लोगन इस्तेमाल किया है घर में, कॉलेज में, स्कूल में, जिसको हम बोलते हैं ओबीडियंस इज अ वर्च्यू। ये सोशल सेटअप में है, हमारे बचपन से ही सिखाया जाता है, ओबीडियंस ऑफ द पेरेंट्स, ओबीडियंस ऑफ द टीचर्स, ओबीडियंस ऑफ द ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स, सोसाइटी में ये बनाया हुआ है, और इसको हम इमीडिएटली कनेक्ट करते हैं कि ये जी हमारा रिलीजियस सोशल कल्चरल फिनोमिनन है, जिसकी वजह से सो ये ओबीडियंस इज अ वर्च्यू वाला फिनोमिनन जो है, it is good, I'm not saying it is a bad thing, but it has its side effect. What we need to do, in my opinion, which I used to do when I was a teacher, I used to teach people unconditional obedience is a sin. The day we bring it into the young mind that he or she is free to disobey, but within the limits of respect, so we have to teach them the difference between respect and disagreement. हमारा सोसाइटी ने ये दो चीजों को मिक्स कर दिया। Disagreement means disrespect. No, it has to be a separate thing. Disrespect and disagreement have to separate. जिस दिन हम ये successful हो जाएंगे, you can look, my friend, you can disagree with me to the core as long as we are within the boundaries of respect for each other, and that is going to change. We cannot expect this society. We blame to youngsters. मैं कभी भी देखता हूँ, अभी भी एक note आया, this is a good example for youngsters. No, I think it's the other way around. It is our generation, our society that is suffering from a spiritual vacuum, and that is reflecting in the younger generation. We cannot say कि younger generation जो है, they are not getting it, because in the violence scenario, जो women's against violence, there is overwhelming evidence that it emerges from home. Most people do not understand that this is not to be done. They think it is to be done. And when you look at that, what's happening when you create a ceiling of the thought, कि पिताजी ने जो बोला, या इवन टीचर, यहाँ बहुत सारे टीचर्स हैं जो टीचर ने बोला, that is my ideal. So unless we teach them, look, whatever I'm telling you, disagree with it and go against it and cross these barriers. So अगर हमने boundaries ही खड़ा कर दिया thought process का within the domains of what exists already, then we are very, very narrowing these boundaries for the younger generation and putting them in a state of frustration. And that results eventually in violence, that results in disruption. So ये सोच ही मुझे लगता है कि टीचर्स पर डिपेंडेंट है. घर तो नहीं बदलेंगे, लेकिन टीचर्स, मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि इफ दे स्टार्ट क्रिएटिंग दिस स्लोगन ही समझ लीजिए, unconditional obedience is a sin. If they start teaching this to children, it's the younger generation who will change the older generation, not the other way around. Old generation is in a state of spiritual vacuum. So it is the younger generation who will keep on changing the older generation. We need to change. And दूसरा चीज, मैं फिर से एक ही मिनट लूंगा. मैं जब पढ़ाता था तो I used to tell, don't read books. I even told my daughter, don't read books. भाई ऐसा तो ऐसे हो सकता है भाई. I say, if you want to read, study a book. Because there's a lot of crap around there also in books. Books have a tremendous influence on your mind. You read a book, it has an impact. अगर वो किताब superficially आपने पढ़ लिया, या कोई थर्ड क्लास ऑथर ने फैंसी लैंग्वेज में जिसमें स्किल सेट बहुत अच्छा है आपने पढ़ लिया, it is influencing you. So choose your books and study them. If you can study a book, if we teach the children, आपको 10 किताब पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप 2 किताब पढ़िए. ये लेकिन स्टडी जो वर्ड हमने रिजर्व कर रखा है, वो हमने रिजर्व कर रखा है सिर्फ किस लिए? We have reserved it for chemistry, physics, mathematics. ये स्टडी करना है, बाकी पढ़ना है. We have distinguished the two words, study and book, reading. We should change. We need to change. Tell children, read books and read them to study. So when you get to the level of studying a book, then you benefit enormously. There's no doubt about it. इसमें तो argument ही नहीं है. But you choose your books and you study them in depth and understand what the author is telling. जिंदगी भर एक author ने जो सीखा है, वो 50 पन्ने की किताब में डालता है. हम बोलते हैं हमने 15 मिनट में सीख लिया. कहाँ से सीख लिया भाई? We have not studied. We just superficially looked at it. So if we pick up great authors and teach children how to study a book also, which is not outside the curriculum, that is going to help them. So teachers पर बहुत important role है. Teachers have a tremendous role to play in this, and that is where the transformation will happen. Sorry for taking too much of my time. I know I was only told to speak for a few minutes. लेकिन control नहीं हो पाया. Thank you.
Shukriya, sir. Thank you. There's no question of any delay in that, sir. This was a very crucial, I would say it was a preamble. It was a preamble about learning, and I'm sure the school leaders here fully agree with you.
घंटा भर बात कर सकते हैं इस पे, because I have.
but बेहतरीन बात यह है सर, आपने टेक अवे मैसेजेस बहुत स्ट्रांग दिए हैं. डिसरेस्पेक्ट और डिसएग्रीमेंट का अंतर आई थिंक रगों तक बैठ गया है, अभी कभी भूलेंगे नहीं हम, और वो बच्चों के लिए भी शामिल है. और दूसरी बात यह है कि जो वर्कशॉप्स होने हैं उनके लिए एक इन्वोकेशन बहुत स्ट्रांग दिया है आपने, and that's where the value of a 50-page book, which is a complete encyclopedia of life given by the author, is what we are trying to look at this summit generating certain adolescent authors. That's one of the goals and objectives. I'm sure we'll call upon you to interact with or maybe address a few children in one of the workshops, sir.
एक
Thank you.
सेकंड में और ले सकता हूं किसी दिन जो कुछ आप लोग जब होते हैं ना टीचर्स के साथ प्रिंसिपल्स के साथ एट सीनियर वी शुड टॉक अबाउट दिस अनकंडीशनल ओबीडियंस वाला जो मेरा स्लोगन होता है माँ बाप की सुनना या टीचर्स की सुनना कंडीशनली रखो. That should be taken over, and it will take an hour or 2 hours to discuss, not 5 minutes. But someday, agar aapke paas,
why not, sir? Why not, sir? I mean, that's the whole purpose of this particular webinar. I mean, all of you are great resource people for the generation now. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for bringing in the ragging prevention guidelines to the country from the Supreme Court, and now we are working on the bullying prevention guidelines for schools. I think the day is not far away. The dawn is not far away. We are privileged to have, as Amita ma'am mentioned, the Dr. Jyoti Gupta and Dr. Jyoti Arora. So I think with the sunshines coming into the educational skyline, I'll call upon Jyoti Gupta ma'am. We recently heard about the joyful learning module, and I'm sure you know what you have to tell us, because you've been the author, you've been the forerunner of such a wonderful large volume, which I'm sure when we look at the volume, immediately we may not feel joyful, but I think it carries so much of a material for a lifelong learning. So please tell us what are the guiding principles of such a joyful learning for schools, and how we can actually decode the handbook the CBSE has brought in. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir, for bringing me on a platform where the galaxy of such eminent speakers is there. It's been an amazing experience listening to each and every speaker, and there is so much of diversity that you have brought into this program. And I've been witnessing this program for past 2 decades now, sir. And you've been working with the youngsters, the adolescents, the peer educator programs that you've been having for different schools have brought in a different kind of an experience. The adolescents have a voice, and I have been with a couple of schools since you started this program, and I have seen children really wait for this one program where they have a voice and where they can actually talk to not just the people of their age, but also to so many more people. You brought in the policymakers, you brought in the academicians, you brought in so many people that the children really feel empowered when they attend conclaves like this. So thank you so much for doing so much for the children. Coming to the joyful learning, the credit to this particular manual goes to Anita Kalwal ma'am, the Secretary School Education. And she was very clear that she wanted something on the competency-based education and the joy of learning in schools and in classrooms. So there were 2 elements to it. One was the fun in the classrooms. So this is not the fun element in the classrooms, but this is the joy of learning. That is when is it that the children actually experience the joy while they are learning, when they are able to make connections with the real life situations. The aha moments that come into the lives of the children, when does that aha moment come in? When they explore on their own. Now, NEP is also talking about, doing away with the rote learning and bringing in experiential learning and competency-based learning into our, classrooms. Also, building of the skills and the competencies into the children. So when we talk about joyful learning, it is the self-exploration that the child does. That is the first principle. That is when they themselves come to realize that they have gone through a process and they have learned something new. So when they are able to make connections with the real life, that is when the aha moment comes in. That is when they realize, okay, there is something new that we have created. There is a new connection we have been able to make, and there is an aha moment. Then the NEP is also talking about the interrelationship or interdisciplinary, pedagogy. That is, every subject till now has become a compartmentalized subject. There is no interdependence of the subjects that we talk about in the classroom. It is like it is a mathematics period, so you study mathematics. It is a science period, so you study science. It's a psychology period, so you study psychology. So the children do not understand the interconnections between the different subjects. And it is important that today, when we are talking about competency based learning, the children are able to relate to whatever is happening in the classroom with the real life situations. Now, that only comes in if there is more project based learning comes in, and more subjects are which are taught to the children in a more interdependent way, with cross-cutting themes as environment and water. So if you want to build the competencies of communication, critical thinking, of collaboration, of citizenship, of character into the children, then we have to talk about not different subjects, but interdependence of the different subjects. So that is what the joyful learning has done. It has picked up themes and it has connected all the subjects and all the learning outcomes that the children are supposed to get by an age that is appropriate for them. They are able to explore on their own. They are able to make connections with the real life situations, get their aha moments, and that is when the real joy of learning happens. Now, coming back to Sir Adolescence, I think there is a lot of uncertainty that the COVID times have brought in into the children. So whenever I talk to the children, and also the 21st century is expecting so much out of the children, and we are all talking about different skills and competencies they should have. We are all talking about at least 7 career changes that these children are going to make in their lifetime. They will train for a particular career, and by the time they are a couple of years into it, that career is going to vanish. A lot of work is going to be taken over by artificial intelligence and by the robots. So there is so much uncertainty. When we were growing up, it was very simple. आप इंजीनियर बन जाते थे या आप डॉक्टर बन जाते थे, एंड सुपर स्पेशलाइजेशंस नहीं होती थी. बहुत सारी चीजें हम ऑन द जॉब सीख जाते थे. आज के बच्चे के दिमाग में एक बहुत अनसर्टेनिटी है दैट व्हेन आई पास आउट फ्रॉम माय क्लास 12 or when I pass out from my graduation, what am I going to do? Will I be able to do anything worthwhile or not? What is the purpose of studying these subjects? So there are a lot of questions that these children have, which need to be addressed, and I think we all have the responsibility to answer these questions for these children.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
Audible,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. I in fact feel that uncertainty as a stressor number one, perpetuated by COVID-19 and brought to the fore, has been a very major cause of the mental health pandemic also. And no wonder that we are looking at this as a major factor overshadowing some of the joyful yearnings by children as far as their learnings are concerned. And agreed, more and more such deliberations and awakenings and interactions with them. When I say with them, I mean about 35 crores of adolescents in our country, which is about 24% of the population, as we were discussing yesterday during the inauguration. I think the beginnings are there. It has been going on, and it's only heartfelt thanks to the school leaders across the country who've been partners in such activities. And the more we listen, more we carefully pay attention to their needs and concerns, the adolescents will be able to find their views about joyful learning. Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much. I take this clue forward to invite uh, Madam Jyoti Arora ji, Mount Abu Public School. You're there, ma'am, with us? Yeah.
Yes, yes, I'm there.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am, and congratulations once again for being the national awardee this year.
Thank you so very
And I'm
much.
sure it's been a award for all of us. I thought all of us put
Thanks.
together, and you're the leading person for that this year. We've been hearing Jyoti Gupta ma'am, and I think taking the clue from there, as I said, we spoke about how health education as a larger holistic paradigm in schools, because it's about how the non-communicable disorders and their transmissions are highest in the uh, adolescent group, especially when it comes to young people in India. Now, whether we talk of obesity or even diabetes, hypertension, mental health issues, suicide rates, and all. I remember when this dialogue came up about 3 years back, and our Honorable Secretary Education, ma'am Anita Karwalji, she also was there to launch the National Health and Wellness Quiz at the National Science Center. Could you tell us a little bit about how your school became the forerunner of that, and then probably that was the launching pad when we look forward to taking this through this adolescent summit. Also, we are launching this on 6th January as one of the culminating events, and it will take through maybe the new academic year next year. Your vision about this methodology about school-based health and wellness quiz as a responsible building factor for overall health education. Yeah, ma'am.
A very warm greetings to everyone, and thank you so very much, Dr. Jitendra Nagpal, for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this thoughtful discussions on adolescence issues through this wonderful platform. And my sincere compliments and appreciations to you for the great work you are doing for the adolescents through variety of programs like annual summits, national level quiz, and many other programs related to life skills and mental well-being. And I second my mentor and the senior most leader in the school education, Dr. Amita Mullah Vatal, when she says that you are the superhero of the adolescence education. You are tremendously doing a wonderful work. And I myself has experienced the impact of the kind of programs you have been talking about from last more than 2 decades. And my daughter, when she was in our school system and when she acted as a peer educator and the kind of experience she gained, now after finishing her graduation, she still remembers those moments, and I think she is full of leadership qualities, and a big credit goes to the peer educated program which she attended as a school student. So the impact I have already experienced, and I'm a great witness of that these kind of programs are certainly going to add value to adolescents when they grow, especially at this age when they need lots of guidance. I won't say they need support, but lots of guidance they need. And there is a dire need to talk about mental health issues at this moment when due to pandemic, the cases are going high. Number is very alarming. I was reading about a study of Italy and Spain, wherein 85% parents have started approaching to the doctors for or have started reporting the matters related to the change in the behavior of the children. So it's a very, very important issue that we must talk about. And to my understanding, awareness is the first step to achieve any goal, and all these kind of programs are adding value to the awareness and creating a difference. And to my understanding, the role of an educator or any school system is to create number of opportunities and platforms for children to know and grow. So I know when when you initiated this first national level quiz on mental well-being and health, rather there was a slight question mark in my mind also, that this is something very different. We have never heard of how people are going to take it and how are we going to receive the response of this quiz, but the response was tremendous. And children, when they wrote about their feedback, that was so positive, and it was like that we have hit at this right time, at the right point. So there is no doubt that how these kind of programs are adding values, especially when the children are in the school education. And to my understanding, an ideal literate of 21st century will be the one who can handle the situations of the life, and in technical form, if I have to say, then I can say that who can learn, unlearn, and relearn, as I strongly believe that leaders of 21st century learners must be equipped to handle the newer trends, because with this shift, especially during this pandemic, we have started talking very high about new skills, new mindset, new trends, new vacancies, new job opportunities. So it's very important that our adolescents are well equipped to handle the newer trends, and to effectively inculcate these. I think we as educators or mentors need to possess methods to consistently communicate a vision. Because if we talk about any initiative or any project, we start with the vision. And so there is a dire need that we need to speak about the vision. And no doubt that today's child is tech savvy, along with he needs to learn more about flexibility, emotions, problem solving, collaboration, social responsibilities, and ethics. And the most important to my understanding is, yes, though we have been talking very high about 21st century skills, problem solving, critical thinking, all that, but we are not talking very much about the positive thinking, which is also very, very important. If we talk about mental health, then it is all connected to your positive attitude. First, you need to have positive attitude, and then we can think of a positive sound health of the mind. So we must talk about positive thinking and positive attitude with our children, and we need to introduce practices which will allow child to experience these positive attitudes. So now it's our responsibility as elders or educators to try our best to inculcate these qualities in our children. I think in my view, we need to equip students with a new extended skill set. Mrs. Wattle also spoke about mindset to skill set and skill set to heart set. That's very important, so that they can apply their academic learning innovatively into new situations of overcoming day-to-day challenges. And that is what we say is the handling the pressures or fear or the mental health. It's all about coping up the daily situations in a very positive way. And there is a dire need of innovations and innovators who are directly linked to the innovativeness of people, which is the requirement for growth, prosperity, and economy of a nation and its citizen. Because whatever contributes in the growth of a nation, that starts with the child who is in the school education. And school is the best platform to inculcate whatever we feel that the child will be able to contribute as a valuable citizen when the child grows. So the 21st century skills we have already talking very high about, and it shall create an environment through these skills where students are fed with creativity, positivity, problem solving. So this will help India also to progress in a very positive way. So therefore, it is very necessary for our schools to become productive cogs in driving this wheel of innovations and competency. And when it comes to mental health, to my understanding, we really need to create an environment, because whatever we want to get out of our children, we are responsible to create an environment for that, so that children grow in that positive environment to respond back in a positive manner. So these skills, whether we talk about creativity, decision taking, I think all these together will empower them with enhanced wisdom, because deep learning ability is essential for preparing thinkers of tomorrow within India and for expediting its growth into an economic powerhouse by leveraging on their innovative thinking. Because ultimately we want that our children should grow as a responsible citizen of the country, and we are very responsible to ensure that they are growing in a very right direction, and they are growing with all positive mindset. So my in my view, we talk very high about all these skills, and especially during this pandemic, which has come blessings in disguise, and we have started talking very high about how to get our learners in learning of 21st century skills. So positivity is one such area wherein we really need to think a lot about it, and then supporting our children a lot, creating opportunities and platform for children wherein they are getting the experience of dealing the situations, and then positive dialogues. This is also one such platform wherein we have been talking about what works very well when it comes to school education or the children in the school education. Ma'am also, Dr. Jyoti Gupta also talked about the essence of joyful learning, the aha moment. So our responsibility is to create that aha moment for the children, so that because I feel world needs individuals who can take initiatives, who can demonstrate leadership qualities in every aspect of their lives, and possess all positive spirit to overcome challenges by seeking out new opportunities, ideas, and strategies for improvement. And for that, we need thoughtful leaders, we need innovators, and we need policymakers, and above all, we need all positive human beings to create or to improve this society to greater levels. So my opinion is to that we can only bring this drastic transformation in the process of thinking and doing of our children, and we are responsible to create the environment wherein children are coming up with their best of abilities and attitudes.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. I think you left us again with a lot of points to ponder. The most important being, how the creative instinct of children has yet to be tapped. And I think, though a necessary evil and whatever happened with COVID-19, but it has been both qualitatively and quantitatively a great movement forward in the education and also the overall understanding of young people in the family system. And we've discovered the joy of grandparenting, the joy of a larger family, and also the joy of family school partnership during the COVID-19 era. There's no doubt that a lot of documentation of this needs to be done. And I'm sure with the International Adolescent Summit going on, this would be one of the ways to document the opinions of young people. And we have a planned small survey and a questionnaire for the young people in schools. Maybe by the starting of the week, we'll be sending it across to the participants. And the title is My Opinion Matters. And when it is about my opinion matters, it's inviting the attention of that population of our country whose opinion about practices, programs, and policies regarding adolescents and how they need to be better, partners in action for such a change, we'll be able to get some answers. जो हमारे पास इस सर्वे से आंसर्स आएंगे, there will be probably in thousands. And let's hope whatever you are suggesting now, both of you, Dr. Jyoti Gupta and Dr. Jyoti Arora, I think these are in sync with whatever the other speakers have mentioned. And we need to constantly keep having opinion from the youngsters. उनके नजर से उनकी दुनिया और हर बार उनकी दुनिया को देखने का एक हमें मौका मिलना चाहिए. I mean, we have been hearing this for the last about 1 month since the announcement of this program happened, and they're very eager to share and also get the opinion about their opinions. Thank you. Before we come to Shri Manoj Madan sir, who's been a great explorer of art, culture, theatre, and education, I would like to call upon Dr. Rushi Tamanna here. Dr. Rushi, you're there with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Both, I think our principals here and school leaders have been raising issues about the support systems in schools across the country. And I remember having discussed with you, and we are looking at a guideline for the country. And National Book Trust India is also working on it, looking at a brainstorming solution to certain guidelines for school and university mental health in India and basic implementation strategies. So as a mental health professional and knowing the dearth I remember AP Sharma ji also mentioning the divide between the need of services within the school system and the support from outside the school system for mental health. That divide remains both in our country and the world. What the WHO calls as the gap of mental health, the gap of mental health between the need and the demand. The need is very less or more, we don't know as yet, but the demand is increasing. At the moment, the demand is about more than maybe 3 to 4 folds what was before the COVID-19. So are we prepared? Are we really prepared for that demand of mental health problems and disorders? Not only for the young people, for the general population. What is the manpower available? I come to understand, and I am a psychiatrist also, and have been in certain policy making. The manpower available is very less in our country. Hardly about say 15,000 mental health professionals, maybe 15 to 20,000 at the moment, and we need about lakhs of them. So the school system as an indigenous system, can you give us very few pointers, very important pointers, how the role of a counselor in the 21st century skills, the role of a school counselor becomes more maybe better positioned, better articulated by the school principals, and also maybe better for linking the school with the services outside. Just a very brief orientation to that, keeping in view the complete inadequacy of the professional manpower available in our country.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think the mental health of our children and adolescents, now it has become an important agenda, not only for the government, as we are seeing from this discussion, but also for the different stakeholders who are working in the educational system. So counselors, of course, are one of them. And I think it can be, there should be, and the most important role of the counselor is that there should be universal access to equitable, affordable, and quality healthcare services to all the children and adolescents in the school as per their needs. And that work can best be done by the counselors who are working in the school. Like, you were talking about that there is a huge treatment gap. So there are a lot of children, 1 in every 5 children is suffering from one or the other kind of mental health issues. So there are a huge amount of children and adolescents who are having various kind of mental health issues. They are suffering from mental illnesses, where the issues of the children are different. So they may have anxiety, depression, stress related issues, somatoform disorder, and they have they have the addiction for different substances, and they have addiction for gadgets, gaming disorders. Subsequently, in adolescence, we are seeing that nowadays, aggression, violence is very common. It is increasing day by day. Then substance abuse is very common. Suicide is increasing among the youngsters. So all these issues cannot be dealt by the they can be dealt well by the counselors or the psychologists who are working in the schools, because the huge treatment gap it is because of so many reasons. Stigma may be the one, lack of human resource. I'm talking about the specialized human resource like the clinical psychologist or the psychiatrist, because whatever the existing mental health services we have in India, those are primarily into the field of curative services, like they are available in the tertiary care centers. So experts, we have lack of experts in the schools. So I think the role of the counselors and the psychologists become very important, with slight training programs. If the government launches some compulsory training program for the counselors and the psychologists who are working in the school, who are dealing with the parents and the teachers and different staff in the school, they can do wonderful job when it comes to the identification of common mental health disorders, for the early identification, early intervention. Not only that, also for the promotion of mental health and the prevention of mental illnesses. So like I was talking that, 75% of the diagnosable mental illnesses, they are established before the age of 24. and 50% of them are established before we turn 14. So, and there are many more which go undiagnosed and untreated. So I think that is the reason that the role of the counselor is very important. So they can detect those mental health issues at very early level. And apart from that, side by side, like we were discussing that because of the life training program, the life skill training program, and the training of the peer educator, that can also be. I mean, talking about the promotion of mental health. So that can also be wonderfully be done by these counselors and the psychologists who are working in the schools. And because we are seeing that despite the high prevalence and morbidity which is associated with the childhood onset mental health issues, mental health care services for this age group in the country are limited because of the so many reasons. It may be inadequate funding, it may be the lack of awareness among the people, among the parents, among the teachers and the other staffs in the schools. It may be because of the, like we were discussing, because of the untrained clinicians. So the existing mental health services. Hello.
I was also wanting to ask you in this connection, which you've raised a very vital point, very briefly. The incorporation of a school counselor comes with certain specific experiences and qualifications, which are not necessarily customized to school-based counseling. These are general counseling qualifications and experiences. But in this particular adolescent summit, with the help of the school leaders, we are taking up a couple of sessions you have seen in the program outline till first week January. How to customize one's life experience of being a psychologist or a school counselor to the need of a given school. For example, customizing the role of a counselor, I'm sure the school leaders also agree, customizing the role of a counselor to the new education policy and the socio-emotional needs foundation years. So what is your suggestion on that, ma'am? Developing certain modules to customize the experiential learning of a counselor, a refresher, a sort of an updation module for counselors to get into the
See,
psyche of a
one
school
there
counseling
be,
system.
yeah, there should be training program. There should be ongoing training program on behalf of the government. That should be compulsory. They should get the leave to attend those programs. Those should be compulsory program which should be attended by different counselors and different psychologists who are working in the school. So they can get training in the identification and intervention part of the those children, adolescents who are already suffering from one or the other kind of mental health issues. And another thing is that of course training modules can be developed for that will be the training of the trainers basically. And in most of the country they are the ongoing they are the ongoing programs which are included in they will not get the nowadays what is happening, that lot of counselors who are working in the school, they are not the trained counselors, but they get the registration. So but that should not be in the practice. They should, their registration number or their registration ID should get updated only by attending those training programs. So there is need to develop different kind of training modules. With the help of that that training program can be done in by different schools in the school itself. And there are many mental health professionals. I'm talking about the trained mental health professionals who can work in collaboration with those schools. They can provide their services when the training of these counselors is required.
That's what I mean. What we're trying to say is, and we are also looking at, based on the suggestions that have come in the last 1 week with the registrations of schools from across the country. We'll be seeking your help in that, ma'am. And Mrs. Rekha Chauhan is here, and already some of those comprehensive trainings for updating and refreshing the role of a counselor for Navodaya schools and CTA schools has been done. So we'll be looking forward to your guidance, and maybe you can think about certain modules which can be imbibed, and the beginnings can be straight away in the course of this particular summit, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. That was a very valid suggestion that came up from you. Manoj Madan, sir, I'm really thankful to all of you, Manoj Madan, sir, Manoranjani ma'am, Neha Sharma ji, and I think three of you form the. Is Mukesh ji here? Mukesh Chalad sahab, are you there with us?
No, sir. We do not
Acha, he's
have
not there.
sir right
Okay,
now.
right. So Manoj sir and Neha madam, are you there? Neha Sharma ji?
Neha ma'am is here, sir.
Yeah.
Present, sir.
Thank you. I know that theater supports you, and you've been a great explorer of theater and education, and long associated with the National School of Drama. Apart from being a great school leader and a very well-seasoned teacher of all seasons, isn't it? Thank you, Manoj sir. What is less to say about you? You've been a great rock star in theater. You've been a great artist in helping life skills to be implemented in a manner that can reach out to millions, and also we have seen you on stage. So both of you supported by Manoranjani ma'am from Kerala. Thank you, Manoranjani ma'am. Looking at diversity of so many handbooks that have come from CBSE, and the question now, which even the director sir, Joseph sir raised, we are now going to be implementing them, isn't it? So implementing through certain actionables, and one actionable is drama, role plays, nukkar natak, theater. Let's have opinions from all three of you, starting from Madan sir, Manoj Madan sir, a great leader from the Dev Samaj Modern School as principal, and also for the country, CBSE resource person. Over to you, sir. We are looking at very interactive, diverse methodology with the ownership of the adolescent student in the new form of handbooks, and इनको बच्चों तक पहुंचाने के लिए ये वाली methodology के बारे में बताइए.
इन्होंने बड़े अच्छे व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बनाए हुए, नेहा जी ने, मनोज जी ने, और उसमें बड़े अच्छे रिसोर्स आ रहे हैं पूरे कंट्री से. इनको बहुत बहुत बधाई.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chandra sir. Thank you very much, and good evening to everyone. Thank you, Chandra sir, for Nagpal sir giving the opportunity to learn something from so many educationists. And really, I feel myself privileged to be associated with you for more than 26 years. And thank you very much for making Dev Samaj an integral part of your projects. Thank you very much for that. Sir, as far as you're asking for theater and the mental well-being and the emotional health of the students, we all are aware what is the reason of the depression, what is the reason of the ill emotional health. Maybe that can be due to bullying, ragging. There are so many issues are there related to the career, their families, their peer groups, their academics, their personality, due to society. We all are aware about the reasons. We know the causes, but what we are doing to eradicate this. I still remember 3 years back, there was some slogan in the country, like we eradicate the polio. We will eradicate the depression from this country. But we have been witnessing since last few years, it is on rise. Whether they are adolescents, whether adults, most of them, they are suffering from depression. Sometimes they simply feel, सुबह उठते ही किसी का फोन पे ही बात करते हैं ना, कभी बात करते हैं, और अक्सर हमारा एक सवाल होता है, कैसा चल रहा है और क्या हो रहा है? बस यार चल ही रहा है, कट रही है, बोर है यार, बकवास है सब लाइफ में यार, बड़ा डिप्रेसिव मूड है. सुबह उठते हैं और वेदर कैसा है यार, बड़ा डिप्रेसिव है, बिल्कुल मन नहीं कर रहा बाहर जाने का. तो डिप्रेशन वर्ड तो ऐसे हमारे साथ घुन की तरह चिपट गया है कि हर चीज में हमें डिप्रेशन दिखता है. हम कभी भी ये नहीं कहते कि यार बहुत मजे में हूँ, बहुत मस्त चल रहा है, एक्सीलेंट, मजा आ गया यार. अरे प्रॉब्लम्स आर पार्ट ऑफ द लाइफ, वी हैव टू सॉल्व. बट क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट वी आर गिविंग टू द स्टूडेंट्स. जैसा युवराज सर ने कहा कि व्हाट वी आर फीडिंग, डेविल भी है, हीरो भी है, हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम बच्चों को फीड क्या कर रहे हैं, व्हाट टाइप ऑफ कंटेंट वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग. ना हम बच्चों को ग्रेटिट्यूड सिखा रहे हैं, ना उनको रेफरेंस सिखा रहे हैं, ना उनको सहयोग सिखा रहे हैं, ना हेल्पफुल एटीट्यूड कैसे होता है, दया को कैसे जीवन में उतारना है, ऑनेस्टी को कैसे जीवन में उतारना है. ये सब चीजों से हम कोसों दूर हैं. एंड वी टॉक अबाउट बिग थिंग्स इन द स्कूल. एज ए स्कूल लीडर आई ऑलवेज फील, बीइंग ए थिएटर आर्टिस्ट आल्सो, कि थ्रू थिएटर, थ्रू आर्ट एंड कल्चर, through music, we can change the life of the student. But before entering into this area of theater, few questions one should ask from the stakeholder, being a leader also. आप भी सब लीडर्स हैं, मैं बहुत टीचर से अपने भी सवाल करता हूँ. मुझे कुछ सवालों का जवाब मिल जाए तो उसके बाद मैं बहुत आसानी से काम कर सकता हूँ. पहला मेरा सवाल यही है कि आर वी चैनलाइजिंग द स्टूडेंट्स एनर्जी इनटू राइट डायरेक्शन? Are we accessible to each and every student from top to bottom in times of need? No. What we are doing? हमने CBSE का एक करिकुलम पूरा करना है, हमने अपना प्रोजेक्ट बनाना है, हमने बुक्स में दिखाना है. We give periods to the psychologists, we invite the counselors, but genuinely, how many of us implementing these things in real sense? How much we are concerned in reality with the student? Do we ever try to find out how much quality time they are spending with the parents and friends? बहुत कम. Are we making efforts to equipping them well to take responsibility with accountability and that too with the trust? We are not making any efforts to make them responsible citizens. Trust नहीं हम करते उन पे. इसीलिए मैं sometimes I really feel कि अच्छा इंसान बनाने की जो कला है हम नहीं सिखा रहे हैं, ना जीवन जीने की कला हम सिखा रहे हैं. हम बात करते हैं लाइफ स्किल्स की, लेकिन लाइफ स्किल्स को तब सिखाएंगे जब बीइंग ए स्कूल लीडर हमारे अपने जीवन से लाइफ स्किल्स बोलेंगे. जब बच्चे हमें देखेंगे तो अपने आप वो इनवाइट करेंगे चीजों को, एंड विच इज नॉट हैपनिंग. डॉक्टर साहब, मैं आपको एक कल का एक इंसिडेंट बताऊं तो रियली शॉकिंग फॉर मी. One of my, you also remember the teacher, I will not take the name. She was working in our school 7 years back. Now she is the principal of one of the schools in Badarpur, with around 1200 students are there in that school. For the past 1 month, that principal is struggling for the life and suffering from COVID, and she is in Apollo Hospital in ICU. और परसों रात को ये हालत थी कि she was very critical. डॉक्टर्स ने ऑलमोस्ट जवाब दे दिया था. कल हम उनको मिलने गए तो हस्बैंड उसके देखते ही रो पड़े. उन्होंने ये कहा कि सर आप अभी भी फोन पे पूछ रहे हैं, इतने दिनों से आपके टीचर पूछ रहे हैं, आप आ रहे हैं, लेकिन जिस स्कूल में काम करती है उस स्कूल के मैनेजर ने, उस स्कूल के ओनर ने, उस स्कूल के किसी टीचर ने आज तक में 1 महीने तक फोन भी नहीं किया. अगर स्कूल लीडर्स, स्कूल ओनर्स जिन पे दायित्व है संस्कार देने का, अगर वो एक टीचर प्रिंसिपल ऐसा कर सकते हैं तो हम उम्मीद कर सकते हैं कि ऐसे सैकड़ों स्कूल लीडर्स होंगे जो बात बहुत बड़ी करते हैं लेकिन बच्चों को संस्कार नहीं दे पाते. तो ये बहुत जरूरी है कि सेट एन एग्जाम्पल. बातें बड़ी बड़ी मत कीजिए आप, एक किसी अंश में अपने जीवन से एक एग्जाम्पल दे दीजिए. बच्चे अपने आप सीख जाएंगे कि आप में एम्पैथी है या नहीं, आपके अंदर हेल्पिंग एटीट्यूड है नहीं, आप ऑनेस्ट हैं या नहीं, आप ट्रुथफुल हैं या नहीं, आप झूठ तो नहीं बोलते हैं, आप कितनी मदद दूसरी करने को तैयार थे इन टाइम्स ऑफ नीड. वो फौरन बच्चा आपसे सीख के उसको पिक कर लेगा. और मैं हमेशा देखता हूँ थिएटर इसमें बड़ा पॉजिटिव रोल अदा करता है, क्योंकि बच्चों के बहुत सारे इश्यूज हैं, उनके बड़े कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग, एक जो अनकॉन्शियस माइंड में बहुत कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चलते रहते हैं जो उनको पता भी नहीं लगता है. बहुत सारे इश्यूज अच्छे होते हैं. मैंने हमेशा देखा फॉर द लास्ट 30 years आई हैव बीन यूजिंग थिएटर टेक्निक्स इनटू लाइक इम्पार्टिंग द नॉलेज, और करिकुलम में जोड़ता हूँ. तो मैंने ये देखा है कि बच्चों में जो कॉन्फिडेंस है उसको बढ़ाने में, बच्चों में पॉजिटिव फीलिंग्स encourage करने में, थ्रू एंगेजमेंट एंड टीम वर्क, थिएटर इज प्लेइंग एन एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी रोल. बहुत एक्सेप्शनल रिजल्ट्स आ सकते हैं अगर हम जेन्युइनली थिएटर को बच्चों के साथ जोड़ते हैं. स्टूडेंट्स कैन लर्न टू एक्सप्रेस फीलिंग. मैं भी एक छोटा सा इंसिडेंट आपका शेयर करूंगा, रोल प्ले की तरह मेरे को मन हो रहा है करने का, और आप इजाजत दे तो. एक छोटा सा इंसिडेंट मुझे स्टिल रिमेंबर कि most of the school, whenever you have to pick the child, even principal direct you कि some debate competition is there, some theater competition is there, some music competition is there, so pick the student. So the main task of the teacher is to give the opportunity to each and every student, but what they do, they pick the brighter one only. अच्छा ये है, इसके पेरेंट्स सपोर्ट करते हैं, इसकी फैमिली सपोर्ट करती है, बड़े आराम से मेरा काम हो जाए, they pick that student. और कई स्टूडेंट्स में इमेंस टैलेंट होता है, बट दे वर लुकिंग फॉर द अपॉर्चुनिटी, दे आगे नहीं आ पाते. तो ऐसा ही एक केस था, 10th की एक एक्टिविटी चल रही थी. उस एक्टिविटी में था कि अनबायस्ड टीचर या अनबायस्ड क्लास का एक सीन क्रिएट करना था. तो उसमें एक बच्चे का मैं बता रहा हूँ उसने कैसे हम तक अपनी बात पहुंचाई. तो वो इस तरह से था, टीचर ने कहा लिसन स्टूडेंट्स, हम लोग परसों एक पॉलिटिकल साइंस एक्टिविटी करने जा रहे हैं जिसके अंदर एक प्रोसेशन निकालेंगे, एक रैली भी दिखानी है, और रैली में एक स्पीच होगी. कि कितना इलेक्ट्रॉल प्रोसेस के अंदर रैलीज की इंपॉर्टेंस होती है। तो आप लोग तैयार हैं इसके लिए? मैं इसके लिए ग्रुप बना दूंगी कैसे कैसे आपने करना है। अच्छा मेरी बात सुनो मनोज, तुम इधर आओ। इस बार कोशिश करो लीडर तुम बनोगे और स्पीच तुमने देनी है। ओ मैम रियली, आपको मेरी याद कहाँ से आ गई? आपको तो हमेशा जतिन दिखाई देता था, बच्चा एक्टिंग में कर रहा है, आपको तो जतिन दिखाई देता था, आपकी नजर मेरे पे कैसे पड़ गई? आपको क्या लगता है मैं कर पाऊंगा? Who told you I am talented one? I can execute the role. No, मैम प्लीज, मैम उसी को बुलाइए ना आप, हर चीज में आप उनको बुलाते हैं, हमारे जैसे लोग कहाँ आएंगे आगे? नहीं नहीं मनोज बेटा ऐसी बात नहीं है। मैम ऐसी बात ही है मैम, जब इम्पोर्टेंट इंटर स्कूल कॉम्पिटिशन आता है तब आप जतिन को बुलाती हैं, तब आप सौरभ को बुलाती हैं, तब आकृति को आप आगे बुलाती हैं, तब मनोज आपको नहीं दिखता? आपने कोई पूछा कि मेरा कितना मन करता है स्टेज पे आके बोलने का, अपनी बात कहने का? कितना गुस्सा मेरे अंदर भरा होता है कि वाई मैम इज इग्नोरिंग मी, वाई शी इज नॉट गिविंग द चांस? मैम प्लीज, आई एम ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ द क्लास, वी ऑल आर द पार्ट ऑफ द क्लास, वाई नॉट द चांस कैन बी गिवन टू एवरीबडी? वी ऑल आर लुकिंग फॉर दैट। मैम 1 मिनट आपका एक प्यार भरा हाथ हमारे सिर के ऊपर हमारे अंदर के कॉन्फिडेंस को कितना बड़ा कर सकता है। मैम प्लीज कभी सोचिए कि आप लोग न्याय कर रहे हैं अपनी ड्यूटी से। इस तरह का एक रोल प्ले हुआ तो मैंने देखा कि वो बच्चे ने अपनी बात कितनी आसानी से टीचर्स और अथॉरिटी तक पहुंचा दी कि स्कूल के अंदर टीचर जो है वो बच्चों को चांस नहीं दे रहे। बच्चा इसी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट में बैठ रहा, उसके अंदर गुस्सा भी भर रहा था, लेकिन थ्रू दैट एक्टिविटी जब बच्चे ने बोला तो उसके अंदर क्या जो गुस्सा था, उसके अंदर जो चिढ़ थी, उसके अंदर जो एक ग्रजेस आ रहे थे, वो उनको एक चैनल मिल गया और उसने अपनी एनर्जी को चैनलाइज कर दिया। जब हमने बाद में बच्चे से पूछा बेटा तुमने इतनी बड़ी बात से डर नहीं लगा? कहता नहीं सर, आई एम फीलिंग रिलैक्स, कितने दिन से मेरे मन में चल रहा था अब तक कैसे बात पहुंचे, आज आप बैठे देख रहे थे, मैंने कहा आज बात कर ही दो। तो ये थिएटर बड़ा अच्छा एक रोल प्ले कर सकता है, चाहे वो सोशल स्टडीज हो, चाहे वो इंग्लिश हो, चाहे वो साइंस हो, कोई भी कॉन्सेप्ट हो। आई थिंक नेहा मैम मेरे से एग्री करेंगी, नेहा बहुत अच्छे से एग्जीक्यूट करती हैं चीजों को, लेकिन थोड़ा टाइम लगता है। लेकिन पेशेंस के साथ अगर टीचर और बच्चे मिलकर काम करते हैं तो उनके अंदर जो बॉन्ड होता है उसके अंदर इतना जबरदस्त एक मजा आता है, एक स्ट्रेंथनिंग ऑफ बॉन्ड हो जाती है, एक टीम इतनी अच्छी बन जाती है कि बच्चा आपके आंख के इशारे समझता है और अपने आप को सिस्टम का इंटीग्रल पार्ट समझता है और हर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी उठाने को तैयार होता है। आप एक बार कह के देखिए, वो कभी पीछे नहीं हटेगा एंड दे हैव इमेंस रिस्पेक्ट फॉर दैट टीचर, फॉर दैट हेड ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशन, और जिसको जब उनको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है। ये मैंने बहुत प्रैक्टिकली फील किया है। मेरे बच्चे आज भी निकल के आते हैं जो 15 साल पहले गए हैं, 20 साल पहले, still I am in touch with them, 2000 batch, 1998 batch, sir whatever today we are, आज आपकी बताई स्टोरीज, आपके किए हुए ड्रामास, आपका बताया हुआ रोल उसने इतना कॉन्फिडेंट कर दिया कि मजा आता है। तो सुन के छाती फूल जाती है, यस यू हैव डन समथिंग। पढ़ाई तो सब करवा लेते हैं, सीए बन जाएंगे, इंजीनियर बन जाएंगे, डॉक्टर बन जाएंगे, अच्छा इंसान बनने की कला तभी आएगी जब सीरियसली थिएटर को हम इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे, आर्ट को इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे, म्यूजिक को इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे, बच्चों को फ्रीली एक्सप्रेस करने का मौका देंगे, उनके जो इनर थॉट्स हैं उनको हम पंख देंगे उड़ने के लिए। तो इस तरह की बहुत सारी चीजें हैं और कई सारे ऐसे रोल प्ले आप मैं 1 घंटा आपको करके दिखाते हैं, इतनी सारी घटनाएं मेरे पास है। लेकिन मेरे साथ 2 लर्नड लोग भी बैठे हैं, मनोरंजनी मैम, नेहा मैम, मैं चाहता हूँ अब आप लोग कैरी ऑन करें मुझसे आगे।
आपको सर ये बात बता दूं, अभी जो रोल प्ले और नुक्कड़ नाटक का जो इवेंट है इस समिट में, वो अभी 26-27 को जैसे स्क्रीनिंग होनी है। अभी तक जो एंट्रीज आई हैं सर, करीब 600 नुक्कड़ नाटक ऑनलाइन आ गए हैं और वो केवल 4 दिन के अंदर हुआ है। तो यू कैन इमेजिन के बच्चों को ये मेथोडोलॉजी कितनी अच्छी लगती है। और सबसे बड़ी बात है कि घर के वातावरण में, पूरे हिंदुस्तान में अपने घर में बैठ के अपने मम्मी पापा को इन्वॉल्व करके उन्होंने रिकॉर्डिंग करी है और 3 से 4 मिनट का। तो फैमिली बेस्ड जो थीम्स हैं जो अभी आप बता रहे थे, और एक क्लासरूम के तो खैर अभी कम आए, लेकिन फैमिली बेस्ड थीम जो स्पेशल नीड के बच्चे हैं उनकी केयर के बारे में जो थीम्स हैं, बुलिंग के बारे में जो हैं, ये आई विल कॉल अपॉन नेहा जी। नमस्कार वंस अगेन, आई नो यू आर प्रेजेंट हियर, सो प्लीज टेल अस, टेकिंग द क्लू फ्रॉम मनोज सर, जो बहुत अच्छा उन्होंने बड़े सेंटिमेंटल व्यू को डाला है थिएटर के साथ लिंक करने के लिए। एंड इट इज नॉट अबाउट theater per se, it is about an expression that gains a classroom attention कि ये कैसे भी बोले, हम जैसे भी बोले और अपने इमोशंस को ऐड करके बोले, लेकिन कम से कम प्रस्तुति हर बच्चे की जो है उसको मौका मिलना चाहिए। व्हाट इज योर एक्सपीरियंस ऑन दैट? आपने अगर कोई तजुर्बा इसमें रखा है, आई एम श्योर यू डन प्रोफेशनल थिएटर आल्सो फॉर क्वाइट सम टाइम, यू आर क्वालिफाइड थिएटर आर्टिस्ट, कुछ अपने तजुर्बे से प्लीज शेयर करिए।
सर, मैं सबसे पहले ये कहूँगी कि ये बात जो कह रहे हैं वो अपने आप में ही ड्रामा और थिएटर को कितनी तवज्जो देते हैं, ये किसी को बताने की ज़रूरत है ही नहीं। और सबसे ज़रूरी बात ये है, यहाँ हम सिर्फ ड्रामा और थिएटर अगर वर्ड शब्द का प्रयोग करेंगे तो हम कहीं उसको लिमिट कर रहे हैं। यहाँ बात है एक्सप्रेशन की, जो कि अभी थोड़े ही समय पहले डॉक्टर नागपाल ने इस शब्द का प्रयोग किया था। हम सब अपने आप को एक्सप्रेस करना चाहते हैं। अगर हम नाराज होते हैं तो अपना गुस्सा, अपनी नाराजगी जाहिर करना चाहते हैं, और खुश होते हैं तो हम मुस्कुराना चाहते हैं, खिलखिलाना चाहते हैं। तो नव रस जो हैं वो किसी ना किसी तरह से हमारे जीवन को कहीं ना कहीं हर वक्त छूते रहते हैं, और वो हमारी जिंदगी का इतना अहम हिस्सा है कि अगर हम स्कूल की बात कर रहे हैं, बच्चों की बात कर रहे हैं, टीचर्स की बात कर रहे हैं, तो इन्हें हम पीछे कैसे छोड़ सकते हैं।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
साथ ही जब हम पढ़ने और पढ़ाने की बात करते हैं, परेशानी सबसे बड़ी ये है हमारी कि हम कंटेंट पढ़ाते हैं, हम बच्चों को पढ़ाने की कोशिश ही नहीं करते। हम बच्चों को समझने और समझाने की कोशिश नहीं करते। हमारा सिर्फ एक काम होता है, एक टीचर के जैसे, और जो शायद मैंने भी बहुत सालों तक किया, कि मैंने सिर्फ जो मुझे एक किताब दे दी गई, जो मुझे एक सिलेबस डिफाइन करके दे दिया गया, मुझे सिर्फ वही पढ़ाना है। बच्चा क्या सीखना चाहता है, बच्चा कैसे सीखना चाहता है, ये सारी समझ बहुत बाद में आई, और इस समझ को सही दिशा और दशा देने के लिए मैं डॉक्टर नागपाल की तहे दिल से आभारी हूँ। आज भी मैं वो दिन नहीं भूल पाती जब मैं बहुत सालों पहले डीपीएस आगरा में थी, और शायद एक वर्कशॉप थी, तब तक ये लाइफ स्किल समिट और एडोलेसेंट ये समिट का इस तरीके से खाका खिंचा नहीं था। सिर्फ एक पीयर एजुकेटर्स की वर्कशॉप थी जिसमें हम अपने स्कूल के बच्चों को लेकर पहुंचे थे, और जो बातें हम आज कर रहे हैं वो बातें वहां भी हो रही थी। एक्सप्रेशन हर मोड में था, विजुअल फॉर्म्स, विजुअल आर्ट फॉर्म्स में भी वहां पर सब कुछ नजर आ रहा था, थिएटर में रोल प्लेस भी नजर आ रहे थे, और मैंने भी उनमें से एक रोल प्ले में पार्टिसिपेट किया था। तो मुझे बहुत अच्छे से याद है कि ऐसा बहुत शानदार कुछ हुआ था वहां पर। और वहां से जो ये यात्रा, ये जर्नी शुरू हुई, उसके लिए मैं ये कहूंगी कि आज लाइफ स्किल्स की वजह से, इस कनेक्ट की वजह से, मैं खुद एक बेहतर टीचर ही नहीं, शायद बेहतर इंसान भी बन पाई हूँ। और एक छोटी सी चीज मैं दिखाऊंगी जो कि कहीं ना कहीं इस दौरान मैंने सीखी है, वो है ये पत्थर। ये पत्थर क्या है ये मैं आप लोगों को बताना चाहूंगी। ये पत्थर है एक छोटा सा ग्रैटिट्यूड रॉक, जो कि मेरे साथ हमेशा रहता है। हम सबकी लाइफ में कहीं ना कहीं परेशानियां होती हैं, और ये बात मैं खास तौर से टीचर्स को एड्रेस करके कह रही हूँ, जो अभी सुन रही हैं या जो बाद में कभी इस डिस्कशन को देखेंगी। हम सबकी लाइफ में कुछ ना कुछ परेशानी रहती है, पर अगर कोई एक छोटी सी चीज हम साथ लेकर चलते हैं, जिसके लिए हम एक छोटा सा नियम बना देते हैं कि इसको जितनी बार हम टच करेंगे उतनी बार एक बार मन से धन्यवाद बोलेंगे, अपना एक ग्रैटिट्यूड एक्सप्रेस करेंगे उस किसी भी चीज के लिए जो हमारी लाइफ में अच्छी है। क्योंकि हम क्रिप करते हैं हर चीज के लिए, ये ठीक नहीं है, वो ठीक नहीं है, पर अगर हम एक कोई प्रैक्टिस कर ले, मेरे लिए एक छोटा सा पत्थर है जो कि मेरे पर्स में आ जाता है, मेरे पॉकेट में आ जाता है, आराम से मेरे साथ चलता है। जब भी छूती हूँ कोशिश करती हूँ धन्यवाद देने के लिए लाइफ को, उन चीजों के लिए जिनकी वजह से मैं अभी आप सबके सामने मुस्कुरा पा रही हूँ। तो पहली चीज, कोई भी चीज हमें इम्प्लीमेंट करनी है, कोई भी जो मैनुअल्स इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की बात हो रही थी, सबसे पहले ये है कि हमें ये देखना है कि हम ग्रैटिट्यूड इस चीज का दें कि हम टीचर्स हैं, हम पूरा टाइम बच्चों के साथ रह पा रहे हैं और बच्चे जिनसे हम बहुत कुछ सीख सकते हैं। और इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की अगर हम बात करें तो हम बहुत आसानी से कुछ भी इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं अगर हम खुद बच्चे बन जाएं। और बच्चे कैसे बन सकते हैं हम, कि हम एज टीचर्स अपनी क्यूरियोसिटी को अलाइव रखें, फियरलेसनेस के साथ चीजों को ट्राई करें, डरे नहीं कि क्या होगा, जो होगा बढ़िया होगा, कुछ तो होगा। फिर क्रिएटिवली बच्चा कोई भी हमेशा आपको दिखेगा कि उसकी क्रिएटिविटी हमेशा डिफरेंट होती है, कुछ नया सोचता हुआ होता है, कुछ अलग कर रहा होता है। तो ये सारी चीजों के साथ साथ रूल्स को ब्रेक करते हुए जब हम चीजों को नए तरीके से करने की कोशिश करेंगे, बिना हिचके, बिना डरे, आई एम श्योर ना सिर्फ ये मैनुअल्स या फिर जो भी प्रोसेसेस हम करना चाहते हैं, जो भी कुछ हम चाहेंगे हम वो बच्चों के साथ कर पाएंगे। और इस पूरी प्रोसेस में, इस पूरी प्रक्रिया में हम बहुत कुछ सीख भी पाएंगे। तो मैं इतना ही आज बोलना चाहूंगी। आई होप डॉक्टर नागपाल मुझे दोबारा भी मौका देंगे कुछ कहने सुनने का। और हाँ, डॉक्टर शर्मा ने जो बात किया था, तो हम लोग एक छोटी सी कोशिश कर रहे हैं आर्ट इंटीग्रेशन को प्रमोट करने के लिए। और ये एक ऐसा प्रयास है जो हर स्कूल कर रहा है। तो एक ब्लॉग हमने क्रिएट करने की कोशिश की, इट्स ऑल अबाउट आर्ट इंटीग्रेशन, जिसमें डिफरेंट स्कूल के डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट्स के लिए जो टीचर्स ने जो भी प्यारे प्यारे काम किए, और यहाँ पर भी जो काफी सारे लोग हैं जिनके स्कूलों का वहाँ पर एक्टिविटीज हैं वहाँ पर, तो ये कोशिश हम कर रहे हैं। और ये मैं इसलिए बता रही हूँ कि वहाँ पर आप देखेंगे कि इतना कठिन नहीं है आर्ट इंटीग्रेशन करना या कुछ भी इस तरीके का करना है जिससे लर्निंग जॉयफुल हो सके। So with this, I'll say thanks for inviting me on this platform, and thank you to everyone from whom I've learned so many interesting things today. नमस्कार।
नहीं, वो ग्रुप बड़ा अच्छा चल रहा है आपका नेहा जी, और बड़ा अच्छा स्ट्रिक्टली उसको फॉलो करते हैं सब लोग। नो गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड इवनिंग कुछ नहीं होता है। वेरी गुड।
So because आर्ट के इंटीग्रेशन के साथ फिर 24 घंटे ही गुड मॉर्निंग गुड इवनिंग का एहसास होता रहता है ना, तो उसको मेंशन करने की जरूरत नहीं है। एंड ऑफ कोर्स नेहा जी, थैंक यू, बिकॉज आर्ट्स इंटीग्रेशन का जो एक वर्कशॉप है बड़ा बेहतरीन आने वाले हफ्ते में, उसमें आप भी शामिल रहेंगी और नुक्कड़ वाले में भी हैं। तो वी विल डिस्कस मोर on the interface with the adolescents of India. Thank you so much. Manoranjini ma'am, you're there with us now? Just for the...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am here.
Yeah, ma'am. I'm really proud, and we all, as a organizing team, are thankful to you. Immense amount of work in Kerala, what you're doing, ma'am. And single-handedly, you've taken the peer educators' leadership there, and with so many schools, as the Sahodaya head also, you have been able to, rather I would say struggling also at times, because sometimes it becomes difficult with the translations and many other factors which certain programs have to be implemented. Could you give us what kind of a vision the Kerala schools and the Cochin schools are having when it comes to implementing the leadership, the peer leadership as such, with the support of the counselors and the teachers? What is your administrative vision for us? Let's conclude on that today. Right.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity just to conclude. First of all, namaste to all the 11 elite resource persons and great personalities over here. And I am happy that sir has given me an opportunity to be part of this program and being with these great personalities. Thank you so much for the opportunity, first of all. Once again, namaste to everyone here. So I am part of this program, especially Adolescent Summit, starting from I think 2012 onwards. So
Yes,
every year we were waiting for having this program, and then thankfully I got an opportunity to host this program here in Kerala. And main thing is, I think we all face the problem like rote learning. So here, by having such a program, and sir is giving an opportunity for the young children to be confident, first of all, and then more than that, they enjoy being part of the competitions. And I think all the children, they never felt that they are competing with others. So this is really a wonderful opportunity for the children. Why? Because children can be natural and they can be real, and that is a main attraction. So making a mistake, it's very natural. So that is the main attraction. Children enjoy making mistakes also. So they are learning from that and they become responsible, children. So we need to see that the children, they must be responsible citizens, citizens later in their life. And then, accepting all the challenges and taking risk, and then, be successful and then be happy and peaceful in their life. And that's what which is happening in this adolescent summit. That's why I have taken to Kerala this one. Here we are lacking this one. We never accept children as they are. We need to accept children as they are. Then only we will be able to give them a space to grow. So that is the highlight. And I think 2-3 years CBSE has taken up. I requested Joseph Emmanuel sir also to have this program as part of CBSE program. And we are educating, we are giving a lot of training for the enough. We need to give chances for the children to be part of creative competitions, and even I think with the school parliament, and we are giving them a chance to voice their ideas and thoughts. So that is the attraction.
I'd like to just make a comment here before we conclude today's session. I think the greatest amount of learning from the schools who always, this is the first time it's a virtual platform, and I think it's so fascinating to have 1,200 plus schools and 16,000 students enrolled. But then when we were having the last 8 summits in Delhi, and the whole contingent which comes from Kerala, I remember, ma'am, the national cultural exchange and the integration part. I remember in one of the competition events, like an evening banquet sort of an event, the children actually coming together, and just about those 3 pearls of wisdom which we all carry: thank you, please, sorry, good morning, good evening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your school children, couple of schools from Punjab, from Delhi, from Bengal, they all came together to create a role play. And how these 3 words कि भाई हम थैंक यू, प्लीज और सॉरी अलग अलग भाषाओं में एक दूसरे को एक नुक्कड़ के थ्रू कैसे बोलें. मुझे याद है, वो अभी तक भूला नहीं मनोज सर, नेहा मैम, कि वो भाषा से ही हमारी जो बॉन्डिंग होती है, वो शब्द कोई भी हो, और वो इतना सुंदर लगा कि वो आज तक मुझे भी याद है. अभी मनोज जी मैम ने जब बताया, वो शायद आई थिंक 2015 में जब समर फील्ड में हुआ था यहाँ जीके में, तब की बात है. सो द होल आइडिया अबाउट जस्ट कमिंग टुगेदर, एंड आई थिंक द इनहेरेंट लाइफ स्किल्स दे गेट मैनिफेस्टेड, एज नेहा जी वाज सेइंग. उसकी जो प्रस्तुति है एक्सप्रेशन की, भले वो किसी भी भाषा में हो. एंड आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाट वी लर्न फ्रॉम द स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ केरला हु गॉट दिस आइडिया कि हम कट अक्रॉस द कंट्री के कुछ स्कूल्स लेके फटाफट एक नुक्कड़ बनाते हैं, जो हमारे प्यार मोहब्बत के शब्द हैं एक दूसरे के लिए, उसके बारे में. तो मुझे
yes,
याद
sir.
है
By participating, they are getting a lot of life skills, and being together with different states, children, they are able to participate with with this particular platform. Anyway, it's really wonderful opportunity for children, sir.
So
thank you,
for
sir.
joining
Thank
the
you so
Kerala
much.
schools for this summit, ma'am. We'll have a journey to walk together and create a very beautiful climate of well-being with so many languages also coming together. That was the whole essence and flavor.
Let us see that all the region, and they are conducting regional summit, sir. And then the final.
Let's hope, ma'am. It is a blessings of all the school leaders who are here. I think all of you coming together itself is a clear-cut idea that adolescents are leading behind. And I always felt, apart from the Sahodaya complexes, there should be Bal Sahodaya complexes. I'm sure Jyoti ma'am will agree on this. Bal Sahodayas bhi hone chahiye, sir.
Sure, sir.
तो
नेशनल लेवल पर ये
Wonderful
काम
idea.
किया जा
Yes.
चुका, आई थिंक उसे रिवाइव करने की जरूरत है. इफ यू रिमेम्बर देयर वाज अ टाइम व्हेन it was done in association with CBSE.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
of course,
done
of course. And I'm sure the
region-wise
Joseph
as
sir has mentioned this fact, and we will create a climate for the future also. The times are going to be much better, and the tough times में भी बच्चों ने हाथ मिलाकर एक solidarity express करी है with such a large population coming together. What a wonderful feeling. So with these words, Aprajita, can I call upon you to give a vote of thanks to all the learned, great school leaders with us, especially our guests of honor, Dr. Joseph Emmanuel and Shri Yuvraj Malik sir, Kumar Vikram sir. Dr. Zoya could not join us; she was traveling, and all the school leaders. Please go ahead,
Right.
Prajita.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Firstly, sir, I would like to highlight that I think out of all the important discussion that happened right now, I believe 3 points were very common by all the honorable panelists. I think effective communication, which we say 3 C's: communication, collaboration, and compassion. I could pick these words in different forms, in different shape, but definitely saying that we have to be empathetic towards children. Absolutely. So thank you so much, first of all, Dr. Jitendra Nagpal sir, for having a vision and creating an opportunity for all like-minded professionals and experts of child's well-being together on one platform. I wish to express sincere gratitude to all the dignitaries today for joining us for this curtain raiser webinar on decoding adolescent mental health and well-being, enriching the paradigm of 21st century skills, the school leader perspective. A big thanks to Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Joseph Emmanuel sir and Shri Yuvraj Malik sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your gracious presence today. Webinar has been facilitated by our honorable panelists, to name all: Shri Kumar Vikram sir, Dr. Amita Vatil ma'am, Shri A.P. Sharma sir, Shri V.S. Garg sir, Dr. Rushi Tamanna ma'am, Ms. Jyoti Arora ma'am, Ms. Jyoti Gupta ma'am, Shri Raj Kachru sir, Shri Manoj Madan sir, Ms. Manoranjani ma'am, Ms. Neha Sharma ma'am. Thank you once again to all the panelists for taking out your valuable time and giving it to us. Now, I think, sir, it's very important for me to say one line for all the audience who's watching us live today.
Yes.
Thanks to all the principal, teachers, counselors, special educators, and adolescent peer educators, along with the family who are watching us from different parts of our country. Thank you so much for being part of the 9th International Adolescent Summit.
Thank you so much. I think I can only say good evening, India. And I think
we started off with good afternoon. We started off with good afternoon, and we're ending at good evening, sir.
Good afternoon, Doha. We have good afternoon.
Oh yeah, wonderful, sir. That's a true international cultural exchange from Qatar.
Thank you, Dr.
so much,
Nagpal. It went off really well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. All of you, sir. Jyoti ma'am,
Congratulations, Dr. Nagpal.
the last of our speakers, but I think we had a very invigorating ending with a lot of discussion on theater, art, integration. That was wonderful. And thanks for making it a wonderful summit. We are beginning on Monday. We wish the adolescents of India a lot of good success, prosperity, as well as leadership. Hopefully the 2021, that's why we decided to take it to 2021 with all the smiles and leadership together. And we leave behind 2020 with whatever has been the qualitative growth thanks to the virtual medium. I'm sure we all will continue to do that together. The answer is together.
Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Congratulations, Dr. Nagpal, for the huge success of today's session. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. It's all because of all the education leaders, ma'am. It's all because of you people, all of you.
Nah, a big credit goes to you for your vision and for your initiation.
Dr. Nagpal, thank you very much, sir. My video is not allowed to be opened, but anyway.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Kachuru Saab, you've been a great motivator of so many guidelines from the government to the school system. As you said rightly, you are part of the system, not an outsider, but a great teacher of all seasons. We have decoded the word teacher today. It applies to you also.
मैंने तो सब सुन लिया शुरू से ही, and I was very fascinated the way school teachers think. But it is always, from an outsider, I look at things slightly different.
Right, sir.
And I
Right,
think
sir.
both
बहुत धन्यवाद.
the other. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir. Thank
Thank you,
you, sir.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Rekha ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.